Do not attempt the training techniques you are about to see without consulting a professional. Previously on Crowder 911.
I don't think Joe Biden knows what he's doing.
A physically inappropriate politician.
He's at the point where he gropes every person that walks by.
Hey, stop. This Joe Biden was clearly out of control. That's not good.
Since Crowder last helped train former Vice President Joe Biden, he's fallen back into some bad habits.
Yeah, the methods worked at first, but former Vice President Joe Biden definitely regressed. He's sniffing people a whole lot less, but he's gotten more handsy, and recently he's been pooping on all the carpets. It sucks to clean up, it really does. And when you walk with no shoes and you get it between your toes, it's the worst thing.
When we last left Quarter Black and his former Vice President, Joe Biden, I taught him how to set boundaries in a calm, assertive state and keep it from escalating. But it seems they haven't kept the rules of no talk, no touch, no eye contact, and so former Vice President Biden regressed into an aggressive state. Hey, Quarter Black.
Hey,
how'd you do?
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Doing good. Well, we've been working with former Vice President here, and he's been sniffing people a lot less, which is good.
That's good.
But since we made the decision to bring him inside, he's been just pooping on all of our carpets.
Wow.
We don't know what to do.
Okay, that's a problem. He's making for the... Hey! Former hey! Like that.
Yes, just like that.
On the carpet. He's not even doing on the wood.
No, it seems deliberate.
That's right. Oh man, I needed to sit down with Quarter Black to get to the root cause of this negative behavior. Okay, so Quarter Black, how long has it been happening like that?
Several months now. Actually, it's been a year.
Okay.
It's getting pretty bad. I don't know what to do.
So that's the main problem is the poop on the carpet.
Yeah, we have small children around, so that's a concern.
That's get serious with that. Now, how old is former Vice President Joe Biden now?
He's 92.
Okay. Now, sometimes with older former vice presidents, it's important to remember that pooping on the carpet is not always their fault. He's not have an awareness of time or space. When he's escalated, he could be on the carpet or he could be on Mars. Right now, he's saying, this is my carpet. I can poop on your carpet. Let's make your carpet my carpet.
So what you're saying is all these issues he's been having it's because of me. It's my fault.
That's right. Does not feel good.
No.
The good news is I can help to snap the brain out of it.
I hope so. I'm excited. I hope we can get it fixed.
Good.
If not, I'm gonna put him down though.
That's right. Okay, now did you see that behavior? Hey, no, hey! You have to go outside.
Joe? Hey, Joe? You did a good job out there. Come on. Here you go. Oh, hey. Yeah, that's right.
Now, after some training, I felt like Quarter Black was going to be able to get calm, assertive control over the pooping on the carpet. But that's when I saw a whole bigger problem of fish in the bucket to cook.
Coming up on Crowder 911.
Guys, he's going in the shower.
Joe?
With Garrett's daughter, she's 9.
Hey, Joe! No.
I usually don't do the slurp on the evening streams, but I have a little bit of cerveza here, so good to be with you. Hey, guys, look, really quickly, we're about to do former Vice President Joe Biden. fact check, State of the Union. I assume he'll be late. So live in real time, we'll be fact checking everything. You can use, obviously, the hashtag. I think it's SOTU, State of the Union is the abbreviated version on Twitter, on TikTok, where we still have not been banned.
Not yet. So far,
despite accusing Xi Jinping of having a micro wiener. I don't know what it takes.
Let's keep just upping the ante.
We're going to keep upping the ante. So we'll be live fact. And of course, you can also use the promo code. We ask that you use hashtag Biden fact check. And that is a promo code as well, where you get $20 off.
Boom. Join up tonight.
$20 off Mug Club. LiveWithCrowd.com/Mug Club. And we'll be doing another half hour at least tonight, wrapping up the evening's festivities. So we have Dave Landau here with me. How are you, sir?
Ahoy. I'm good. How about you?
As good as I can be, knowing that this is the state of affairs in our country and globally and in this studio.
I'm
I
excited.
told you guys to use the bathroom before the stream.
Well,
I don't know. The stream. All right. That's why.
Yeah. By the way, you don't have to walk in when I'm using the restroom to cross stream.
Well,
it's a joke once.
I think it's a joke every day.
Well,
twice.
Yeah. It just gets to be grating, and I don't know. He's a tremendous lockpicker. And Gerald, how are you, Gerald?
I'm well. How are you, Stephen?
I'm doing all right. Right now, they're talking about on CNN, so we'll bring this up here, you guys, so we can have it. So we will have the stream on. So this is the only stream you need to watch. I know before we had to be careful. Sorry, I don't have a cough button because of copyright. Yep. Tonight, we are going to try and just punch in and punch out so you can hear most of the State of the Union address. And with these long applause breaks where everyone, of course, will be giving standing O's.
Really?
Yes, long applause breaks because he needs it.
No, it's going to be him long breathing breaks.
Yes, long breathing breaks, and they will stand up and applaud.
Good stammering.
It'll be like Tom Hanks on Punchline. He'll be sitting there talking, someone help me!
Pretty much. You're supposed to applaud here. It says hold for applause.
Right.
I'm just excited to see him come out. I don't know if Kamala has hidden the tennis balls from his walker.
Right.
But
you replace them with golf balls.
yes, there's a very good chance that she's already buttered the staircase.
What? Why is there a banana in the podium?
What's going on
here?
President, if you do take a shot every time he calls her the president, you will be dead in 1 hour.
Yes, you will be
after
dead.
it starts.
Which reminds us, we have a drinking game tonight where you can watch along with us and drink. Can you bring them up there, Toolman? And Tokunawa, explain to people every time you hear this ding. Do you have the ding there?
Here it is.
There we go.
All right, Keegan, let's be faster to the draw on that.
I'm not the ding man.
Oh, okay, it's
I'm the ding man. It's two
He's the
separate
ding
things.
man.
Hey, ding, yeah, I was going to say more of a ding back.
Right?
Correct?
That's what.
So,
That's good.
All right, so Tokunawa, what are the rules?
Is there a sizzle?
All right,
Sizzle?
so number one, if Biden has a moment, so he gaps, he stutters, he forgets something.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so alcohol
That's all we
poisoning.
need.
Number two, he
So
blames
everyone's
Russia.
going to die?
Yeah, he blames Russia for anything.
And hit a ding every time he gives you the number there, Tim the Toolman.
all right.
Number three,
Number three, he promotes infrastructure or green energy.
commonly known as imaginary energy, yes?
Number four, he encourages the vaccine.
Okay.
Or number five, he mentions racism or white supremacy.
Man, well, if we have to drink like this for the entire stream, I'll be feeling like I got my fourth booster.
Yes. Well, you might hit your head and die.
Right? Well,
Not
Oh,
that. What?
no, that doesn't
what?
happen.
no, that doesn't happen.
No, I'm not saying from
Nobody
a
has any
booster.
He was
baseball.
talking
saying
about
from
in the
drinking.
Yeah, from drinking.
Yeah, nobody
From
has
drinking. That's why I also want to warn
Oh,
people.
you were implying he
If
was
you
implying
feel-
you were speaking. You were speaking ill of the science.
No,
No, never. We would never.
Science is not a theory; it's a fact.
Yes.
Fact. It's mutually agreed.
And by science, we mean what Fauci says, depending on the day.
Well,
yeah,
we
that
take a
day-
poll. We go.
Really quickly, did you guys see this?
that's
That
science.
Dr. Oz wanted to debate Fauci. Dr. Oz is running as a Republican, and it was trending all over Twitter with people saying, "Oh, Dr. Oz, yeah, maybe the My Pillow guy is more your speed." Like, he's an active surgeon, a world-class surgeon. Dr. Fauci hasn't seen a patient in 40 years.
Oh, wow. I would take that.
He's also answered every question anyone's ever asked him about healthcare.
Right.
That's his job.
As a matter of fact, if you Google right now,
Stump me.
Dr. Oz, real doctor, you will find all articles before he ran for office saying, actually, Dr. Oz is a totally legitimate doctor who's really good at what he does. Okay, so our predictions for tonight. Gerald, you first.
And this is not like a bold prediction on this first part, but I think he's going to try and find a way to blame the issue in Ukraine on Donald Trump's policies. I know there's a lot of people.
Ooh, taking a risk.
No. I know that's not a risk.
Taking a flyer there, Gerald.
I'm just saying that
I don't know.
he's definitely going to try to tie that because for some reason they can't get off of Trump, right?
Yes.
That's definitely going to be it. We will have some fact checks for that. We're ready for that one because we see it coming. But then I think he is also going to try and distract people from the economy. That is, if that is the third rail for them right now going into midterms, and he's going to do everything that he can to blame the economy.
So third rail, a Black Lives Matter recidivist pushed an Asian in front of
That's true.
Yeah,
but he's going to blame the economy on the Russia invasion, even though that just happened.
Yes.
And the economy has sucked for a while.
That's a good point. Okay. I think you'll also see him try and imply that Donald Trump weakened NATO. And this is going to be a big thing. You've seen this narrative going out. Well, first off, let me hear, Dave, what do you think?
I think 4 mini strokes, a grand mal seizure, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes.
How long do you think it will take him to realize he has crapped his pants?
Don't be a jerk, Buzz.
Well, he's already going to walk out with it in his pants.
It's a little squishy.
So you're saying, well, I think tonight's show is sponsored by Imodium, by the way.
Yes.
Go out and get you some. I really do think he's going to blame most of it on Trump. He's probably not going to mention, he's probably going to go, hey, don't look at your phones at the Dow today because, oh my goodness.
Right.
I took one look at my Fidelity investment account and I thought, well, there goes half of everything. So yeah,
I just heard we lost Imodium, but we do have Pepto-Bismol for upset stomach, nausea, former vice presidency, and diarrhea.
Oh, yeah. Uncomfortable.
Excellent. I'm excited. Larry the
sorry,
Cable
but
Guy is
continue.
going to jet ski in with it.
Get her done!
No, I think he's going to blame the economy on Trump because clearly that was his fault.
Wait, are they getting ready to come in now?
No, they say 4 minutes.
There's several other people.
Yeah, they have to announce a bunch of people no one cares about.
Who's the guy with the scarf?
Yeah.
Why the blue scarf?
That's a lady with a scarf.
Oh, it's
Dave.
because they want to stand with Ukraine.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's what it is.
For the
Okay.
first time. Good for them.
Wow, that's great.
Hey,
Them and
there's the
Stephen King
SCOTUS.
taking a stand.
There's a Supreme Court.
Yeah, I think
Serial
he
rapist.
blames everyone but himself. That's
Well,
what I
what
think.
would have been great is if Kavanaugh walked in with a beer helmet
Oh yeah,
and just looked over at Cory Booker.
I came to
Here's
party.
looking at you, kid. Just kidding. Keep acting like you're straight.
inviting everyone to a pool party.
I like beer.
He will be talking about the Supreme Court nominee, probably trying to tout that as
Yes,
a victory
yes,
with
absolutely.
very little qualifications. Was it Brown Jackson. I never know how to pronounce the first name. So I do think this. Look, I think he's going to try and they've been trying to consistently blame Donald Trump for Russia. And we can get into the minutia. And sometimes people will say that I'm being reductive. By the way, of course, Dave is a former alcoholic, cannot drink. He'll be doing whippets.
No,
The drinking game.
Not doing that either.
Yeah, he'll be doing a drug.
Instead, yes.
He'll be doing poppers.
He'll just be.
By the end of it, he has brain damage and AIDS.
Liberace's son will be here, and Dave will be doing nitrate pop.
Dave's
I'll be
fa-
painted gold for some reason.
By the end, Dave's just belly down on a piano.
Yeah, just
Candelabra.
yeah.
I can play chopsticks on a typewriter.
Look at me go. Oh, I'm getting weaker.
So I do think, they're really trying to blame Donald Trump for Russia. Now, before I get into the minutia here, let me ask you this, and you guys can comment. Obviously, we're not right now while we're live, and we'll be taking your chats on Mug Club, but many of you will be watching this probably tomorrow, if you're watching it tomorrow, today. I'm sorry, Miss Biden. Ooh, your husband's dumb.
I bet you think you're a doctor.
I never thought he'd shit his pants here live. No, I did. That would be a lie.
She's a doctor. What? Like, is that she tells everybody she's a doctor?
She's a doctor of not love.
That's what it is.
Yeah, she's a doctor of frigid.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And
Strickman's lays clothes sterile.
they call me Doctor No Love. I will say they want to avoid, of course, the approval ratings. Now, they've been trying to blame Donald Trump for Russia. Sure. Before I get into the details, does anyone here, and we've talked about the real problem with Russia, right? And two things can be true. Your heart can break for the people of the Ukraine, and you can also understand that it's not America's job to go out and police the world and to send Americans to die for this conflict in Russia. Yeah. Both things can be true. I think these are reasonable positions to hold. You held one position, Lane holds another position, because where does it stop with Russia? I do think I lean towards the fact that they're not really capable of becoming this superpower they want to. It's a flex. However, the concern, of course, is Russia allying itself with China. We did a segment on this. You can go to Thursday's, or was it Monday's show? Was it last week? This week? Monday's show.
This way, yeah.
That's right. It was Monday's show. Let me ask you, genuinely, you can comment. Does anyone out there, I know many of you watching, a lot of you are not necessarily conservatives, you might be more liberal. Does anyone actually believe that we're in a stronger position with China right now than with Donald Trump? Does anybody actually believe that Donald Trump was anything short of the only president in modern American history to be tough on China? Here's the thing. This guy can't talk about the alliance with China. This party can't talk about China. They can't talk tough with China. Why? Because they've been aligning themselves with China for a long time. Think about this. When Mitt Romney talked about the threat of Russia, back in those debates in, I believe was it 2008? Was it
No,
2000?
it was when he got reelected.
2012.
2012, yeah.
So 2012, Barack Obama said, "No, the 80s called. They want their foreign policy back."
Right.
And then when Donald Trump talked about China, I believe he even had this former vice president. Certainly, there's Pete Buttigieg. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess I thought he was going to come out with a breast pump.
I thought he was the designated survivor.
Yeah, he can breastfeed too.
Looks like he just got off a horse.
Yes. Yeah.
Walking bow-legged, are we, Pete? Yes.
Strange. Here's your seatless bike.
They went after Donald Trump saying, well, you can't speak this way about China, one of our most valuable partners, in the global economy, because they want to push this idea of a global economy. And who do they want to align themselves with? The Democratic Party, China. So they really are kneecapped. They cannot address the actual threat that most Americans are concerned with. Not only China, of course, with Taiwan, which is more international. A lot of Americans aren't following that. I believe that it's scorched earth if China moves at all on Taiwan. And they've been insinuating that they would. But we need to worry about the alliance with Russia and with China. That's something that they cannot address. So they have to start dancing circles around this. That's why they're going to have to go to green energy. That's why they're going to have to talk about COVID. By the way, more COVID deaths under former Vice President Joe Biden than Donald Trump. While we're talking about NATO, Donald Trump was the first president to actually strengthen NATO. What they meant when they tried to say that Donald Trump weakened NATO is Donald Trump was tough with NATO, where, of course, NATO, for those of you who don't know, once NATO was basically created, these countries that signed on to NATO were supposed to spend 2% of their GDP on military personnel. That goes military spending toward NATO, right? That was the agreement. We paid, the United States, I believe it was 3.4%. The average from other countries was well under 2. I believe it might have been 1.5. There were many countries that paid less than 1%. So Donald Trump said, you better start paying your fair share, or oops, maybe Putin's going to march through here and hear the lamentations of your women. See you driven before them. Oh, that sounds terrible, terrible. I would hate for that to happen. That's what other people say would happen. I would never say that. So, and for the first time, there was an increase in spending. The country started finally paying their fair share. NATO spending went up under Donald Trump. What the left means when they say we need to strengthen NATO is the United States needs to foot the bill. And this is my question. And again, you guys can probably respond if you're watching this live on Twitter. We'll read some of those tweets and we'll read your chats with the hashtag Biden fact check. That's also the promo code $20 off. If people went years, decades, not spending their 2% with NATO, okay, because that's the agreement, right? All of us are aligned to protect each other. Is it morally right for them to benefit from the United States military, to defend them? And when you have places, you have countries, for example, use Germany as an example, where they've said, the internet is a human right. We're able to provide all of these rights, and people saying socialized healthcare for our citizens when you Americans, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because you don't spend money on your own defense, let alone the international defense that you promise. You guys get to service your country with free shit at the expense of us protecting the free world. That's the important component with NATO, because guess what? If other people aren't doing it, and I think they should have to pay back all the money they didn't pay, or guess what? You're out, or at the very least, you don't get any defense from NATO or any other allied countries, certainly the United States, until you pay your amount. That's a fair agreement, right?
I think so.
I would assume.
Yeah. I think, honestly, you're just saying we want to strengthen these countries so that they can defend themselves. How many times does another country, or as Kamala Harris put it, a large country, have to march through a small country that's next door before you guys realize, hey, we probably ought to spend some money on defense so we don't get our butts kicked? Right? That's all Donald Trump was trying to do, and they're trying to spin that on him. And I
think it's better to occupy a country for 2 decades and then just leave all our stuff there.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
pallets of cash that we could not
Yeah.
Or
possibly
do you mean like
airlift out.
leave Black Hawk helicopters?
Yeah,
like
billions of dollars worth of.
I was
yeah.
pissed off about the workout equipment, honestly, that was left.
Yeah, exactly.
Could've
Although
been
I don't know how many ISIS members will really take advantage of that total gym. Oh, look, it's a good coat rack.
Yes.
Oh, yes, a Peloton. It's what I've always wanted.
It was just the bikes that Lindsay Lohan used on the commercials, and we wanted to get them out of America as quickly as possible.
You're on your Peloton
Joke's
course,
on
you see a
you.
little icon for what? Abdul Baghdadi, who's a Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. His times are fantastic.
Yeah,
What's he on, EPO?
I think what we're both saying is pretty spot on. And I mean, they're going to push division about the wrong things. They're going to push fear about the wrong things instead of having you focus on what we should really be worried about, because that's what they've spent the last 2 years doing. That's what they spent the last year of Trump's presidency doing. It's what they've spent the last year doing. And when was the last time we were this bad?
Well, the United States?
Yeah.
About 4 years ago.
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly?
Maybe 5.
I don't know if
roughly.
I'm just
right
ballparking it.
Yeah.
I mean, even a little like longer than that.
Yeah.
I mean, this bad.
Yeah. By the way,
This is
he's 4
terrible.
minutes late, so I just wonder if he's still there, like knocking on the stall right now. Mr. Trump looks like the Muppet. Sorry, Mr. Biden.
Ooh.
Mr. Biden, they're looking. It's like the Muppet Show where it has his name. That they put his star on the toilet.
I think what you mean is on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Really quickly though, he prepared for tonight, and he actually brought in the big guns. We do actually have footage, I believe. Is this correct, Tokenau? We have footage of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Almost.
Oh, 1 second. We almost have it.
Yeah, we're gonna cue it up here in just a second here.
Look at this. These people are acting like it's a wine mixer.
Yeah, they are. It really is amazing. And they're all looking at what's the guy Kavanaugh? Like nothing happened.
Right.
Kavanaugh's standing back.
Yeah, he's
there
just standing there like by himself. Like we all know.
Yeah.
Remember that whole rape thing? It wasn't real.
Yeah, it wasn't real. We're sorry about that. We just tried to destroy your life and reputation for all time. But you know what? Let bygones be bygones. It's almost like when people after a fight, you know, whether it's like Lennox. Oh, wait. Is this him?
not yet.
No, not him.
He's-
Who is
Wait,
that
who's
lady?
that?
That looks like the witch from Robin Hood.
I know.
Coming
That
up
looks like a
soon here.
Biden back there, though.
Is that
Hold on,
Biden
hold
back
on.
there?
I think that could be Biden.
Let's
back
see who
there.
this is. Here we go.
All right, now let's hear who it is there,
Ladies and
Keegan.
gentlemen,
Lord
the
and
former Vice
Lady
President of the
douchebag.
United States.
All right. All right, Keegan, you can probably feather it
Is
now.
that the Secret Service lady right there? Is that his body man?
Is that his bodyguard? He's like, yeah, I want equity in bodyguards. What does that mean? I want the lady from the Hover-Round commercial with osteoporosis.
Follow the lady that smells like a grandmother. She will lead you to the
Yes.
podium.
You really just need someone stronger.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you if you grabbed former Vice President Biden's wrist and just tweaked it the wrong way. Hey, look, Eric
Swalwell.
Hey, Swalwell, the guy who was banging a Chinese spy. How is that man still allowed to be a representative in government? Is that not, like, close to treason?
I mean,
Gotta
he
be
didn't
like
know.
shaking an old broom from the 50s. Just dust.
Like, where? You know what? Maybe let's go. He goes his left hand. It's a dustpan. What is this?
Oh.
This is a weird. I'm the $6 man.
Go have a good speech. Am I the president? Oh Lord.
Oh, did you see that pat? That pat was like you're doing okay, big guy.
Yeah,
that wasn't a confident pat.
No,
Nobody pats him hard.
Except
Like,
there's going to be a
knock him over,
bruise
you
the
know?
size of a melon on his head.
Yes. he's gonna have a blood clot.
Yes.
Looks like he's been in a fight.
Come on, guys, careful.
No, former Vice President Biden's never been in a fight.
No.
Oh, he always claims that he likes to take people out behind the bike rack.
So this is a problem for me right here. He's shaking some hands and not others on the Supreme Court. It's like he walked right past Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll go shake these guys' hands. That's fine."
Yeah.
That's just a
Look at how he's walking. Look at how he's walking. This is the representative of the free world, for crying out loud. And I know it shouldn't matter. I don't know if you can bring up the hashtag too on the screen so people can see. It's the Biden fact check. We'll be fact checking everything live here as much as we can. Look. He has to use the podium to get up there.
Oh, boy.
rail.
I'm surprised they didn't install a ramp. All right, let's hear it. By the way, expect a lot of long claps because these people are all going to. Is he looking at his cards
They've been trained.
or he's handing them out?
Well,
I think
Like, I'm here. I'm
Nancy
here to hand out
Pelosi-
diplomas.
Yeah, she's gonna rip up her copy of the speech just like she did last time with Trump.
Expect them to clap. They're
thinks he's
just a yes man. Like,
You're doing great, kid. Your speech, your SOTU's perfect. It's a perfect SOTU.
There you go. Actually, he thinks he's
Gotta
got
cut
red
my-
lobster.
I don't want to cut your eye. Your SOTU's perfect.
He thinks he's handing out menus.
yes.
He's like, here you go. You
Place
can
your
sit
order.
here.
His has a maze on the back of it.
Cindy
Do you want a
Steiner.
bread basket?
Oh, look at this. Did you see that? That is significantly closer. I don't know if we can get people to bring it up from the control room. Looks like those prompters are significantly closer than they've been in the past. Could just be an optical illusion.
Who else
be.
is coming in now?
Except that they're right there.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hey, look, I love that one guy's wearing a mask. He's going to die on that hill.
Yeah. Yeah, why are there 3 people wearing masks and the rest of the places? Nah, we're above.
They just made him wear it because he has bad breath.
No, it's like something else will kill you.
Maybe let's double mask it. Why me? Why me? Because you smell like you've been in a truck stall with George Michael.
because you look
Goatee,
perfectly
I
healthy.
hate your face.
It's your face. Pick one.
Whatever it is. I just don't want your face.
Look, he's pointing like he's Babe Ruth, except he's pointing to where he's going to bungle it. Okay. All right. Everyone, Biden fact. Hashtag Biden fact check. Hashtag
Thank you so much.
SOTU.
Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justices of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight,
Yeah. Why is that?
we meet as Democrats, Republicans, and Independents,
Rosen?
but most
Flirt.
importantly,
Dang it.
as Americans.
Drink.
With the duty to one another, to America, to the American people, to the
Wilma
Constitution,
Flintstone back there.
and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny.
That's another slur.
We're sorry, folks. We did this to you.
Thank you.
A clap already? That's a standing O?
Because of freedom triumphing over tyranny.
His wife's like, I haven't had a standing O in years.
Days ago,
Or an
Russia's
O.
Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways.
No, that's Kamala.
But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over.
That's Kamala.
Instead, he met with a wall of strength
Oh,
he never
fuck.
anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people.
Good thing she doesn't have to drink for every one of her necklines.
What'd you think he was going to meet?
Yeah.
Other people?
I don't know.
He invaded Ukraine.
Georgians?
The president.
That's the Ukrainian ambassador?
I think so.
I thought she was part of a caravan.
I thought she was a
Every
gypsy.
Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their
She
courage,
pointed at him
and
and said,
determination
"Thinner,
literally
older."
inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies. Everyone from students to retirees to teachers turned soldiers defending their homeland.
How'd they do that, with guns?
And
Huh?
in this struggle, President Zelensky said in his speech to the European Parliament, light will win over darkness. The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady.
Oh, was that supposed to be ambassador
Let
drink?
each of us, if
Oh,
you're able to
what?
stand.
He said
stand and
Ukrainian
send an
bastard.
unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine.
At least she's not there.
Thank God she got out.
Thank you, thank you.
Look at how Jill is standing 6 feet away from the ambassador. Not because of COVID, she just thinks she's gross.
I know. You should just hug her. No.
If Russia hadn't invaded you, we never would have met.
Right.
She's bright, she's strong, and she's resolved.
I mean, brave, sure, strong. I don't know that she could deadlift 250.
Stop trying to sell me turquoise jewelry.
I do not need another mood ring.
Please stop.
Yes.
No.
We, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history, we've learned this lesson. When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving.
They do.
And the cost, the threats to America and America to the world
Oh, God.
keeps rising.
Drink.
That's why the NATO alliance was
Slur.
created,
Yeah,
to secure peace and stability
not
in
liquor,
Europe
guys.
after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond.
Why is that?
He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americans.
What? Months?
America to the Asia.
All right, that's
All right,
African
drink.
continents.
Freely loving nations.
To confront Putin.
You spent months?
Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies.
Yeah. An hour 15
We
before your
shared with the
afternoon nap.
world in advance
Thought he
what
said
we
mumps.
knew Putin was
has
planning
them.
and precisely how we would try to falsify and justify his aggression.
What?
We countered Russia's lies with the truth. And now that he's acted, the free world is holding him
Oh,
accountable.
jeez. Come on, man.
Along with 27
I don't even remember
members
any of the other
European
drinking
Union,
rules. Can you guys bring them
including
up?
France, Germany, Italy,
Yeah.
as well as countries like the United Kingdom,
I thought he
Canada,
was. There's a
Japan,
blames
Korea,
Russia for
Australia, New
anything,
Zealand,
promotes
and many others, even
infrastructure.
Switzerland,
Okay, all right. That's
are
enough.
inflicting
We
pain
get
on
it.
Russia and supporting the people of Ukraine. Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been.
No, he's not.
Together,
He actually has more real estate.
Yes, he's
together,
It's true. It's like someone widening your backyard. Are you feeling isolated yet? What? I've got you right where I want you.
Really?
We're also putting a golf course in back, which will be municipal. You'll have access to it. We're squeezing the vice.
Putting a privacy fence up to your deck.
Powerful economic sanctions.
Have you stopped
We're
buying
cutting off
oil?
Russia's largest banks in the international
Just
financial system, preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble.
What the
Making
fuck? Sorry.
$630 billion
Drink.
war
Defending the
fund
Russian ruble?
worthless. We're choking Russia's access.
Make sure you guys intersperse some water in this drinking game.
And weaken its military for years to come.
Mine's just ginger ale.
Tonight, I say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders who built billions of dollars off this violent
They just show
regime,
someone who looks
no
aggravated
more.
to be there.
The United States.
I gotta get up again.
Like, oh my gosh. Shouldn't have done leg day this morning.
Yeah, they're looking around at each other like, really? We're okay. I guess we're standing. Okay.
Did you guys hear that?
What the hell are we clapping for?
Rupus.
A dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets.
Oh, come on.
For you are ill-begotten gains. And tonight,
Drink.
I'm announcing that we will
meant
join
to say
our
your
allies
ill-begotten
in
gains.
closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy.
I'm sorry. Hold on. You mean they can't fly over here?
Yeah.
We're not exactly on the way to Ukraine.
There's one WNBA team from Russia, like, son of a bitch.
This
I was really looking forward to pulling off weave.
I like the woman to the right who's just like, I'm not
The Russian
moving.
stock market has lost 40% of its value.
Not doing this.
And trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies,
Not Trump, you mean?
we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance,
Which, by the way, to be clear,
humanitarian
Donald Trump
assistance.
provided in
We're giving
2017
more than
$47 million
$1
in
billion
arms,
to Ukraine.
210 anti-tank missiles, 35 launchers. In 2019, he approved another $39 million, 150 Javelin missiles, and 2 launchers. He increased the overall spending and troop deployment in Europe. So just to be clear, he did this before there was a war with Russia. Donald Trump did. Whereas Biden just said he's been working for months after these attacks.
Our forces are not engaged
She just rolled her
and
eyes.
will not engage in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine.
Conflict?
Our forces are not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose,
I mean, the allies who spent less than 1% of the GDP, guess what? They should not be defended at all.
Protect NATO countries, including
Enjoy your
Poland,
socialized
Romania,
healthcare.
Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia.
And dying.
And as I've made crystal clear, the United
Nothing.
States and our allies
Ever.
will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power.
Hey,
Every single
how about
inch.
NATO protects every inch of
There you
NATO?
go. Yeah.
How about the rest of the NATO nations protect their own nation?
How about when the Ukraine gave up? I said it. How about Ukraine giving up their nuclear missiles and we were like, hey, don't worry, we'll be
Ukrainians
there.
are fighting
So under
back
Trump,
with
NATO allies
courage
increased their
and
spending by
But the
$50
next
billion,
few days,
just to be
weeks,
clear.
and months
Only
will be
2 other
hard on
countries
them.
even paid 2% of the
Putin has
promised amount.
unleashed
That was
violence
Greece and the
and
UK.
chaos.
And who cares about Greece? That's just a few
While
lesbians
he
on an
may
island with
gains
rocket
on the
launchers.
battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And a pound of Ukrainian people, the proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have. They've known 30 years of independence.
A pound of
Have
Ukrainian people,
repeatedly
guys.
shown
Yeah, sure.
that they will not tolerate
Like, a
anyone
pound of Ukrainian people in the hand is 3 Russians in a bush.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I
Pound
would
for
be.
pound of a pound of
A
ham.
Russian dictator of
I can kill 2 birds and
invading a
I'm
foreign
always
country
stoned.
Yeah.
has cost around the world.
Huh?
And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at Russian
The
economy.
doctor's the size of a grapefruit.
And that we
He
use
said,
every
"Is
tool at our
O'Neill's foot the
disposal
size
to
of a
protect
grapefruit?"
American businesses and
That's what's in your
consumers.
head.
Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world.
To release.
Oh, how about oil in the United States? Why do we need any oil from around the world? Keep in mind, he's the one who shut down the Keystone Pipeline immediately for the first time ever in modern American history. Under Donald Trump, we were a net exporter of now this is what happened.
now we have to
a net
drink.
exporter of oil in 2016. I believe it was 2016, maybe it was 2019, and then we went right back. He's the one who approved the Nord Stream 2 pipeline going through Russia. Why do we need anyone else's oil? It's clear that we don't.
We're going to be okay.
Well, I feel like
When the
everybody
history of
there
this era
drives
is
gas
written,
cars because nobody
Putin's
stood
war in
for that.
Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. Well,
Guy's checking his phone. Like, he got some text from his wife. Can you bring home eggs? Shit.
Man.
Bitch won't leave me alone.
Hey, by the way, they just said that the 60 million barrels of oil had been released. That sounds like a lot. We use 20.6 million barrels a day in the United States.
Yeah,
So that's 3 days, Joe. Thanks.
By the way, keep in mind, if we drilled and fracked more here, guess what? We could provide people in Europe, including the Ukraine, with more oil. Hey, America first helps the country first.
Unbelievable.
We see unity
Put
among
your
the
oxygen
people
mask
who are
on
gathering
first,
in
and he should
cities
know about that with his
and large
CPAP.
crowds around the world, even in Russia,
have a CPAP.
to demonstrate their support for the people of Ukraine. In the battle between democracy and autocracies, democracies are
I
rising
didn't
to the
die
moment,
6 months ago.
and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security. This is the real test, and it's going to take time. So let us continue to draw inspiration from the iron will of the Ukrainian people.
They're being attacked right
To our
now.
fellow
Joe.
Ukrainian Americans who forged the deep bond that connects our two nations. We
What's
stand
that?
with
Burisma?
you. We stand with
That
you.
was Stephen King.
Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people.
The
He'll
Iranian?
never extinguish their love of freedom.
Did he just say Iranian?
And
Yes.
he will never weaken the resolve
That's
of the
like
free
finish
world.
your beer. We can't, but
fudge.
you should. He just said Iranian.
Oh, no.
Well, you know that we don't go into enough countries when you just throw out.
Next, he calls them the Yemen people. Oh, shoot.
I hate
Don't tip your hand, Joe.
Why are you giving a standing O?
Swalwell's
for-
like waving the flag. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
He's just
also
waving the
Iranian.
Chinese spies' panties.
Hardest years this nation has ever faced.
Yes, because you're here.
Pandemic has
Or
been
the
punishing.
Iraqis.
And so many families are living paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah, 'cause of
struggling
you.
to keep up with the
You're
rising
mailing it
cost
to
of
'em.
food, gas, housing, and so much more. I understand, like many of you did. My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up, it was felt throughout the family.
Yeah,
It had an
7.5%
impact.
inflation in the
That's one of
first
the
quarter, I
first
believe,
things
right, of
did as
2021.
president, was fight to
22.
pass the American Rescue Plan. Because
It was
people were
2022?
I
hurting.
think it's this year, yeah.
We needed to act,
How
and
would
we
you
did.
feel, Joe? Full?
Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19, delivered immediate economic relief to tens of millions of Americans. It helped put food on the table. Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk? It cut the cost of health care insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room.
He used to say
Unlike the $2 trillion tax
About
cut
COVID?
passed in the
About
previous
what?
administration that benefited the
Is he
top
talking about Jimmy
1%
Carter
of
gas
Americans.
lines?
The
I don't-
American Rescue
don't,
Plan
yeah.
Talking about the plague.
Ew, tax
The American
cuts.
Rescue
Oh,
Plan
look at him.
helped working people and left no one behind.
Oh, my gosh. He's basically saying that tax cuts under Trump were bad.
Right, yeah.
Even though they worked.
Yeah, even though we had record low unemployment, we had crazy high labor force participation. Apparently, it benefited Black Americans more than your, your former buddy over there. And right now, we have record high inflation. We have no new net added jobs. Keep in mind, zero jobs have been added since the high of 2019, before the Democrats decided to ensure that a pandemic was thrust upon the world. And of course, it was covered up that China might have known more than they did.
So less
Yeah.
than one.
Yeah.
Less than one. Yeah.
More jobs in 1 year than
Yes.
ever before.
If you
in the
fire
history of the
everybody
United States
Right.
and then
of
hire 8 people, it's an 8%
America. Economy
increase.
grew at a
Yes.
rate of 5.7 last
not-
year, the strongest growth rate in 40 years.
Good
And
God.
the first step in bringing fundamental change
All right,
to our
it's the
economy
goldfish
that
from
hasn't
Pan's
worked for
Labyrinth.
working
It's that
people in
Yes.
this nation for too long. For the past 40 years, we were told the tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and
did.
everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else.
Not true.
And then
The average household income in the first 3 years of Donald Trump, we can
Vice
fact check
President
this and bring it up.
Harris
I'm
and I
going by
ran for
rote.
office,
Was over
and I realized we had
$5,000 a year.
disagreements on this.
Under 8 years of Obama, it was about $1,100.
Yeah.
3 years of Donald Trump, you've never seen those kinds of. That's across the board. Okay. Just to be clear, when he talks about how it didn't trickle down, when he talks about how there was a widening gap between the wealthy, no, the gap widened between the wealthy and the rest of you with COVID. The top 5 companies in the world added over $2 trillion to their ledgers.
Because we know when the middle class grows, the poor have a way up and the wealthy do very well. America used to have the best roads, bridges, and airports on earth.
Because they were
When?
And now Our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world.
Infrastructure.
We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important.
Yeah, you're doing such a great job, Secretary of Transportation. The only accurate part of that name is Secretary.
He wears that badge with honor.
Yeah. He should be called Dottie and fixing people their lunch cocktails.
Could I have a softer chair?
Anybody have a donut?
Could I have an inner tube?
This is.
It was a bipartisan effort, and I want to thank the members of both parties who worked to make it happen. We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade.
Infrastructure.
Yep.
Drink. Bring back up the drinking rules for people who haven't seen them yet. Again, use the promo code Biden Fact Check or the hashtag Biden Fact Check, hashtag SOTU, State of the Union.
To put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with the rest of the world, particularly China.
Oh.
I've told Xi Jinping it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people.
Really?
We'll create good jobs for millions of Americans.
He said, no. Just bet against you. Not American people. No. Just you.
To withstand the devastating effects of climate change and
He looks
promote
like he's
environmental
farting.
justice.
He might be.
We'll build a national network of 500,000 vehicle charging stations. Begin to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school.
Yeah, you just talked about building electric vehicle charging stations. Hey, hold on. Former Vice President Joe Biden, how are you going to charge them, dick?
Hey, remember when you visited Flint? That's still a problem.
Rural, suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced.
What,
Many of you
casinos?
have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over
Pelosi does a tooth smile. It's the
65,000
stuff that gives
miles of
children
highway
nightmares.
and
Kamala does that smile.
1,500 bridges in disrepair.
She knows she's closer to the throne.
Folks,
I'm sorry, but talking about infrastructure when the world is on fire, I get that it's important, but maybe not tonight.
No, let's be honest. Pipes aren't that important.
Well, and
private companies can do it better.
That was green energy and infrastructure.
Oh, shut up. I need another beer.
buying America.
Somebody in the studio.
Buy American products.
By the way, the America Competes bill, just to give you some quick facts, just so you know, the main focus of the bill is engineering biology. This is from congress.gov. $50 billion in subsidies for the semiconductor industry with no guardrails to prevent any funding actually going to China. $78 billion to the National Science Foundation, that is completely unrelated to China. $8 billion for the UN Green Climate Fund. It expands the federal government into education, creates apprenticeship programs to edge out private businesses. It calls for more federal money to K through 12 education. There's just so much in here that has nothing to do with making America more competitive.
At all.
Everything from the deck of an aircraft carrier to the steel on highway guardrails is made in America from beginning to end. All of it. All of it.
Two ways to do that. Make this a more business-friendly economy, Donald Trump, or number two, force American companies to do it, which just ends up resulting with more of them shuttering.
Yes.
We also need a level
Just let 'em
playing
open.
field with China and other competitors.
How do we do that, Joe?
That's why it's so important to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act sitting in Congress that will make record investments in emerging technologies and American manufacturing. We used to invest almost 2% of our GDP in research
Another
and
slur.
development.
Wiz to invest.
We don't now.
He meant to say we is to invest because he was looking at Clarence Thomas.
We
Let me give you one example why it's so important to pass.
We don't now.
If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll find 1,000
Hell.
empty acres of land. It won't look like much.
It isn't
But if you
much.
stop and look closely, you'll see a field of dreams. The ground in which America's future
And if
will
you
be
build
built.
it, they'll come.
That's where Intel, the
If you
American
build it,
company
swallow
that helped build
up.
Silicon Valley, is going to build a $20 billion semiconductor megasite. Up to 8 state-of-the-art factories in one place. 10,000 new jobs. In those
Joe
factories, the
Jackson.
average job about $135.
Why is old Kevin Kline there?
$135,000 a year. Some
You
of
mean
those
old Greg
sophisticated
Kinnear?
Yes.
to make computer chips the
Sitting
size
behind
of
old
a
Tina
fingertip.
Fey.
The power of the world in everyday lives, from smartphones, technology to the internet, technology is yet to be invented.
Kevin Costner.
But that's just the beginning. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, who was here tonight, I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go, Pat.
Oh, yeah, you looked
stand
right
up.
to him. You had no idea where
Boy.
it was, did you?
That's like baby geniuses.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Harry. His voice ran a broom. Thank you. I came from Hogwarts.
Hey, hey, Pat, say hello.
I wasn't expecting to speak.
He's that guy from Short Circuit.
Yes.
To 100
Shouldn't you be filming a Shriners
that
commercial?
would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history.
They accidentally cut to a make.
40,
Pass
Dave.
this bill.
Oh, yes.
So let's not wait any longer.
Could have fooled me.
Send it to my desk. I'll sign it. And we'll really take off in a big way.
Really?
By the way, his desk is Fisher Price.
No, he just got one from Putin. It's really long now. It sticks
Yes.
out into the west wing.
That guy was actually 60.
No, the guy on the Shriners commercial.
Just look
It's
around,
140
you'll see
yards.
amazing stories. The rebirth of pride that comes
Football
from
lines.
stamping products made in America. The revitalization of American manufacturing. Companies are choosing to build new factories here.
No, they're
Just a
not.
few
You're
years
trying to
ago,
force
they
them
would have
to.
gone overseas.
No.
American
That's what's
manufacturing
happening.
boomed under Donald Trump.
Ford is
That's not what
investing $11 billion in electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country.
It's called.
How are
GM
you
is
going
making
to
the
power
largest
the electric
investment in
vehicles?
history.
When the government
$7
forces
billion to build
modern
electric vehicles,
electric
creating
vehicles, guess what?
4,000
Green energy companies don't work when they're forced in by the government. Look at Elon Musk. He had to leave California. You're talking about millions of jobs and businesses that have had to leave California. Not to mention the Toyota headquarters. They're doing electric vehicles. Why wouldn't they be doing that in California? Eco-friendly. Elon Musk went to Texas. Texas is more friendly to environmentally friendly jobs than California. We all want cleaner energy. Yours just doesn't work.
Who's here with us tonight? Where are you, JoJo? There you go. Thanks, buddy. As Ohio Senator Sherrod
To pull himself up.
Sorry, is this
He's like, I'm just the postman.
He's a trainer. Not that kind of trainer, though.
the janitor from Rudy's?
Oh,
look, he's sitting next to the guy they showed earlier.
Rust Belt. It's time to see what used to be called the Rust Belt become the
Thank you, Black Gene Shalit.
home of significant
Yeah,
resurgence of
I
manufacturing.
can't go.
That's a gulp.
And with all the bright spots in our economy, record job growth, higher wages, too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills.
Yeah.
Inflation is robbing them of gains they
Wait.
they would
Inflation?
be able to feel.
Right. Okay.
I get
Where's
it.
that?
That's why my top priority is getting prices under control.
Problem.
Our economy roared back faster than almost anyone predicted.
Nope.
But the pandemic meant that businesses had
Zero
a hard
new
time hiring enough
jobs
people because
added
of
from the
pandemic
2019 high.
to
We're
keep
still at
up
a deficit.
production in their factories.
None. Not one.
So you didn't have people
gas
making
$4?
those beams that went into buildings because they were out.
He just
The
said
factory
beams
was
that went into
closed.
buildings.
Beans?
Yeah, he
Panic
said
also
beans.
disrupted the
Drink.
global supply chain.
Does he get a point for not saying jumping
Factories
bean?
Are these
closed.
beans all beans?
When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up.
to give me that.
He's making a
last
conservative argument now.
One-third
Inflation
of all
affects
the
everything,
inflation is
including
because of
Americans at the pump and
automobile
including everything that needs to be shipped,
There
right?
are enough
Something that we've talked about in the past.
semiconductors
That's why we should be more dependent on our own oil and natural gas reserves. He's making that case, and then he's going to say, by the way, that means that the government who printed more money, the government who devalued the dollar, the government who decided to create record high unemployment and encourage which inflation scenario, we're going to fix it. How? Mandates.
I think I have a better idea to fight inflation.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lower your costs, not your wages.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the solution. When businesses right now have been shuttering in record levels, you think restaurants right now who are coming, let's just lower our costs. There's some Iranian who he supports, like, I am still sitting on like 5 pounds of shrimp that hasn't been used.
You know what happens when you
More
lower costs?
infrastructure and
More
innovation
profit.
in America.
You don't typically lower your price as well, you idiot.
In America.
Well, we're
More
paying more for
jobs, we're
cheese and
generating
pepperoni
in
and such.
America.
What do you think we should do?
Instead of
Lower
relying on
prices.
foreign supply
well,
chains,
that
let's
makes sense.
make it in America.
What do you want to do after that? I don't know. Shoot myself and my whole family?
I got time on my hands.
Starting with you, Jill. She's just like, oh, boy.
I quit my corporate job in 2019 to follow this dream.
Hey, Jill, what happens when you mix red and blue? You're going to be looking turquoise after tonight. What? Double-barrel shotgun.
Well, and by the way, you were right. 7.5% inflation at the end of 2021 carried
End of
over into
2021.
January 2022.
I think overall it's been over 6% under his presidency.
It has.
Well, what are we going into March?
9. 9!
Are we 9 for real?
No, I'm just kidding. We'll see.
Let's-
Lower your
all right, let's
costs
see.
and lower the deficit. 17 Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders And I believe most Americans support the plan. And here's the plan.
That's wrong.
First, cut the cost of prescription drugs.
Oh, boy.
Hey, didn't Donald Trump, wasn't he the first president in modern history, let's fact check this, to actually cut the cost of prescription drugs? He was the first president to do that.
They've all run on it.
They've all run on it. Donald Trump did it.
Fact check. Just look at insulin. 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes.
I wonder
In
why.
Virginia, I met a 13-year-old boy, the handsome young man standing up there, Joshua Davis. He and his dad both have type 1 diabetes, which means they need insulin every single day. Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make. That's what it costs the pharmaceutical company. But drug companies charge families like Joshua and his dad up to 30 times that amount.
Hey, how much did you give to Pfizer? Do we have that number? How many hundreds of millions of dollars were given from this government to pharmaceutical companies? By the way, with carte blanche, no requirement to pay back the American people for footing the bill. And by the way, reduce liability so you can't sue them when damage is done. Oh, now we're back to vilifying pharmaceutical companies that are making money on other drugs. Okay, I understand. I just want to make sure I understand the rule book. See? Remember I talked about this this Monday. See, this is what happened with already drinking the drinking game. I'm sounding like former Vice President Joe Biden. Talked about this Monday. It is entirely inconsistent to vilify pharmaceutical companies and then support the course of action that you've seen from this presidency and former vice presidency with the vaccines.
And 200,000 other young people with type 1 diabetes.
It's
Let's cap the
disgusting.
cost of insulin
You
at
allow
$35
people to
a
invest
month.
in buying that at $10 so then they can sell it to people that are sick and need it to live at 300 times the cost because of him and because of really Clinton, who lacks the drug laws to begin with.
And insurance companies.
Yes.
Because now there's so much red tape, they have to charge you so much because they have to have so many people on staff.
Who, by the way, got the biggest kickback in the history of mankind, insurance companies, in the history of insurance companies under Obamacare.
They already
Are you going to throw up?
set the price for VA drugs.
Oh, goodness.
Look, the American Rescue Plan is helping millions of families with Affordable Care Act plans to save them $2,400 a year on their health premiums. Let's close the coverage gap and make these savings permanent.
What happened?
He said
Second.
premiums.
Oh, I agree.
Hey, by
Nancy
the way,
Pelosi there,
Let's
I'm just
cut energy
glad I
costs
have
for
this
families.
clipboard.
An average of $500 a year
sorry,
by
it's a boner
combating
joke,
climate change.
inappropriate.
Let provide
it.
an investment tax credits to weatherize your
I missed
home
that.
and your business,
weatherize.
to be
Sputnik,
energy
I missed that.
efficient and get a tax credit for it. Double America's clean energy production in
I
solar,
thought you were just
wind, and so
upset
much
about
more.
tax
Lower
breaks.
the price of
Oh,
electric vehicles,
hey,
saving
oh.
another
Oh,
$80
I
a
will
month
say this, though.
that you're
Credit
not
to her
gonna have
makeup
pay at
artist.
the
They
pump.
definitely made her eyes look less googly.
It's true. Gee, I sure hope her boyfriend's feet are there.
You just want to have sex with
Exactly.
her.
The thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks is cut the cost of childcare.
Hey, how about you make it so they don't have to pay for child care because everything's so expensive and they have to work double, triple shifts, dummy.
Let the government raise your kids forever.
Hey, guys out there, I've run out. I need give me a devil's backbone. I'll need something stiffer.
I was a single dad for 5 years, raising 2 kids. I had a lot of help, though.
What?
I had a mom, a dad,
He was a single
brother,
dad?
and a
His
sister
wife
that
passed
really
away.
Yeah, his
helped.
wife passed away.
I didn't know that.
The middle class
Yeah.
and working folks
His wife and
shouldn't have to
daughter.
pay more than 7% of their income to
Yeah, it
care
was
for the
sad.
young children. My plan.
I mean, Hunter killed them.
Hey, by the way, do you know where that money comes from? They're going to take all of your money and use that.
And help
Let's be
parents,
honest, the
including
favorite
millions
didn't
of
win.
women who left the workforce during the pandemic because they
Shouldn't have given him
couldn't
that broken
afford
pork
child
here.
care.
I thought it was
to be able to get back to work,
Wrong one died.
generating economic growth. But my plan doesn't stop there. It also includes home and long-term care.
You wouldn't
more
know
affordable
economic
housing.
growth if it bit you on the sterile scrotum.
No.
All these will lower costs to families.
Or in the dead left
Under my
hemisphere of
plan,
your brain.
Nobody, let me say this again, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in new taxes.
Hey, by the way, can we fact
Not a
check?
single
What is the
dollar.
exact presidential salary?
Yeah.
Don't you love that? He's like, 400,000. Yeah, that's the magic number.
Yeah.
Like, hey, maybe we should make it so only people over 300,000 should pay more. No!
Does that include bonuses?
That we'd all
No.
agree
Gifts?
The present tax system ain't fair.
How about insider trading? Fuck off!
We have to
That's
fix
why he's
it.
going into Russia to get jets.
Hold on.
I'm not looking
He's
to punish
making a good
anybody.
point here.
But let's make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share.
Oh, the fair share argument.
Ah, okay.
Wealthy Americans pay 27 times.
Hey, there's Pocahontas.
Oh.
It's an old stat, so it's probably more now. Define fair share, Joe.
He's thinking my golden retriever could give a better speech than this.
Oh, yeah. We come from the land of corporate America.
There you go.
More
Salary.
corporations
Say,
incorporated in
400,000.
America than every other state in America combined. And I still won 36 years in a row. The point is, even they understand they should pay just a fair share.
What's that?
Last year,
Define it.
55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid zero.
Can we bring up that fact check, guys? Under the pandemic, the top 5 or top 10 wealthiest Americans or the top companies, their net worth, I believe it was, or their assets increased $2 billion. You don't need to do that, Given. Have them send it the control room to you. That's the problem, right? When you have a fundamentally controlled economy, right, a manipulated economy, guess what? The big guys win. Why do you think big banks support Democrats? Why do you think Apple, Amazon, Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of these companies support Democrats? Again, it's inconsistent to try and say, oh, corporate interests, but then not recognize that the most powerful companies that have ever existed, oil companies, no, not even close, support what he's saying because they make more money. It hurts middle-sized businesses. It hurts small businesses, and everybody knows it. You can look at the numbers. All references available at loudoscrowder.com. Bring it up.
We all know we've got to make changes.
Changes.
Who has to make changes?
Well, he has to get changed.
Oh, literally.
Go to an intermission. There's just a bunch of depends. Let's all go to the lobby.
What do you mean? Get off
Xanax
and alcohol and everything else we've been afraid of for 2 years?
My plan will not
at
only lower
home,
costs and give
worried
families
about
a fair
everything,
shot,
losing their
it will
lives.
lower the deficit.
Yeah, we only need to
The
change.
previous administration not only ballooned the deficit with those tax cuts for the very wealthy and corporations.
Oh, he's going to lower it.
It undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates?
Speaking of which, is your dog still biting everybody who takes a White House tour? Prick.
How much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? But in my administration, the watchdogs are back. And we're going to
silver
go after
thing
the
on her
criminals
desk, a
who
flask?
stole billions of relief money meant for small business and millions of Americans. Tonight, I'm announcing that the Justice Department will soon name a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud.
So how about this, former Vice President? You first. Hey, is Fauci on that list when he said it occurred in nature? It did not come from the Wuhan lab? Is that?
By the end of this year, the deficit will be down to less than
Just
half
because
of
it was
what it
called
was
the
before I took office.
COVID-19
Really?
Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
The only president ever to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year.
That's not true at all.
Lowering your cost also meant demanding more competition.
Did he just claim he lowered the deficit by $1 trillion
He
in a
says
single
he
year?
will by the end of this year.
Oh, okay.
And Kamala went,
Capitalism without competition.
even she was like, come on, Joe.
$1 billion.
Joe, that's not the number we discussed.
What was the number we discussed? Negative trillion.
To compete. Their profits go up and
We
your
said
prices
million.
go
We
up
were
when they
being
don't
generous.
have to compete.
Look, Nancy
Small
Pelosi was,
businesses and
am I not
farmers
turtly
and
enough for the
ranchers, I
turtle
need to
split?
tell some of my Republican friends from
That is a
those
lot of
states.
ear
Give me
hair.
some leaves.
Guess what? You got 4 basic meat packing facilities.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Butt
You
gig
play
just
with them,
stood
you
up
don't
at
get to
attention.
play at all.
Yeah, it's like, what?
You pay a hell of a lot more.
Sorry.
Did you say
A hell of
Packers?
A lot more because
What?
there's only 4.
That's your
See
meat
what's
packing.
happening with ocean carriers and moving goods in and out of America. During the pandemic,
Show him with meat packing.
foreign-owned companies raised prices by as much as
Like, oh, that reminds me, I need to stop by
1,000%
Murdoch's.
and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers.
Hey, don't you see this? All of this is punishing American businesses who he's harmed and accepting no responsibility. You just deciding nebulously they're overcharging?
Yeah.
Why did prices all of a sudden go up, and why did it happen to coincide with record inflation, gas prices, unemployment? You think it's just because they decided they could screw people who, by the way, couldn't pay those fees anyway? It's as stupid as the idea of predatory lending.
For nursing homes,
But
and make sure your loved ones get the
you
care
think people
they
are going to
deserve and that
restaurants
they
because the
expect and
prices
will
are
look
too
at
high?
closely. We're also going to
That's what
cut
happened
costs
for
to
2
keep the
years.
economy going strong and giving workers a fair shot.
So when I lived in New
Provide
York, it
more
wasn't because you
training
put the
and
tables out in the
apprenticeships
street and people were
higher
getting
than
hit by
based on
taxi
skills, not
cabs.
just their degrees. Let's pass the Paycheck Fairness Act and paid leave. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
It's already 15. Dunkin' Donuts right down the street right now is paying $15 an hour to start.
No one has to raise the family in poverty.
Oh, because $15 an hour is not poverty. $30K is all it takes for you to raise a family, Joe?
And invest in what Jill,
There's McDonald's down the street that pay more than hitmen made in the 80s.
America's best kept secret.
Well, the best hitman accepted.
It wasn't Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's the best.
Let's pass the PRO Act. When a
It was
majority
creme de
of
la creme, but they got
Here's
the
what he's
job
saying.
done.
Right now, here's what he's saying. I'll sum it up for you. The government knows best, and we're going to send money from your paycheck to everybody we
By the way,
vote for.
have you seen the Fight for 15 organization? Now they plan to strike for 25.
Oh, 25?
All McDonald's workers. Guys, bring that up. There was a flyer being passed out for all McDonald's workers to strike until they got 25 an hour. Because guess what happens with inflation? Your money, you just need to pay more. $15 an hour is not what it would have been last year.
Yeah.
Who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair.
Yeah, yours.
Because they lost somebody.
Is he fake?
But I also know this. Because of the progress we've made, because of your resilience,
more people,
and the tools that we have been provided by this Congress.
The vaccine that you said you wouldn't take, that one?
We're moving forward safely back to a more normal routines.
He was thinking about the TripAdvisor's commercials with the lawn gnomes.
Where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July of last year.
Pacemakers shocked
Just a few days ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new mask guideline.
Well, the eighth one is more of a
Under
shoulder
the new
massage.
guidelines, most Americans and most of the country can now go mask-free.
We've been doing that for a couple of years now, Joe.
Wait, you say that like it's a good thing.
Based on projections.
Hey, it is. You're the assholes who want. You have guys in masks there.
I was going to say, how are we mask-free? Look to your right and
Based on the
left.
progress we've made in the past year, COVID-19 no longer needs to control our lives. I know some are talking about living with COVID-19, but tonight I say that we never will just accept living with COVID-19.
Oh, please, double
We'll
down.
continue to combat the virus as we do other diseases. And because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard.
Which means you live with
Here are
it.
4 common sense steps.
Now
as
you're
we
back.
move forward
Right.
safely.
Fair
and
I
point.
love it.
Oh, shit.
First, stay protected with vaccines.
I shouldn't have
and
taken that
treatments.
circular logic
You
course
know how
in college.
incredibly effective vaccines are.
You know,
Here's his
If you're
vaccine
vaccinated
promo.
and boosted,
Oh,
you have
Oh,
the
it's
highest degree
double.
of protection. We'll never give up on vaccinating more Americans.
All right, drink.
Now, I
That
know
wasn't a
parents of
sound
kids
clip.
under 5 are eager to see their vaccines authorized.
By
for
the way,
their
this
children.
no, we're not. Kids under 5,
Scientists are
no.
working hard to get that done.
By the way, the
We'll be ready
CDC
with plenty of
withheld
vaccines if and when they
the
do.
vaccine effectiveness, the data on it with the boosters, ages 18 to 40, let alone what we don't know anything with people who are 5 years old. When the CDC first published a significant, we have this from the New York Times overlay, significant data on the effectiveness of boosters in adults younger than 65 2 weeks ago, it left out the numbers for a huge portion of that population, 18 to 49-year-olds, the group least likely to benefit from extra shots. And by the way, there's a curve where people who are least likely to benefit from the shots, people who get younger, we don't even have the data on 5-year-olds because it's retarded.
Initiative. So people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot
Hey,
at no cost.
who's generating the testing kits, Joe? Who's generating generating the boosters? The pharmaceutical companies you just vilified
Yeah.
for insulin.
If you're in
There's nothing consistent about it. You can't be consistent.
Do they have to release the data 75 years from now still, or can we get it maybe next week?
I don't know. He's planning on all of us being beholden to Skynet.
We're leaving no one behind or ignoring
Starlink.
anyone's needs as we move forward. On testing, we've made hundreds of millions of tests available, and you can order them for free to your doorstep. And we've already ordered free tests. If you already ordered free
Free,
tests
huh?
tonight,
Sorry,
I'm
we've just been
announcing you
notified
can
that there
order
is a delivery fee
another
due to the increase in
group of
gas
tests.
prices.
Yeah.
Go to covidtest.gov.
Just
starting
stumbled
next
drunk.
week, and you can get
If you
more
order them
tests.
tonight, you can get them
Second,
8 years after
We
we
must
cure the
prepare
virus.
for new variants.
Very exciting.
Over the past, we've gotten much better at detecting new
It's
variants.
looking at this lint.
this
If
guy?
What the hell is
necessary, we'll
this?
be able to
I
develop
shouldn't have worn that
vaccines
Ukrainian
within
scarf.
100 days instead of
That's it with
maybe
cheap
months
scarves.
or years.
I thought it looks good.
And if Congress provides the funds
Those
we
stupid
need,
lacrosse
we'll have
players were
new
innocent.
stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come, but I can promise you
What?
we'll do everything within our power to be ready if it does. Third,
Oh, so you mean you won't have more than 100,000 people killed on top of Trump. So Donald Trump was what, like 420-something thousand, and his was 520-something thousand people dying under his watch. Under, keep in mind, the least deadly variant, Omicron. Bill Gates said what I said. He said that Omicron is responsible for saving more lives than the vaccine.
He said it, not us.
No, I said it. Then Bill Gates said it.
Yeah, well,
we're doing that here in the
Where's
federal
my cut?
government. The vast majority of federal workers
Why are you showing a
will
Guess Who
once again
character?
work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way.
That was John
Our kids
Favreau.
need to be in school.
Hey, who's been saying that for several years? Everyone's now standing and clapping?
Yeah.
Yes, school should stay open. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
okay.
a new one.
By the way, I just see that one lady in red. She's wearing a tarp.
Yes.
Ladies.
And there is
75% of adult Americans fully vaccinated. And hospitalizations down by 77%.
Oh,
Most
weird after that
Americans
green
can
thread.
remove their masks and stay in the classroom.
He reached in the wrong pocket. He reached in his pocket for a mask. Did you see that? He reached in one pocket, the other pocket. Drink. That's certainly a flub. He thought he had a mask.
Of course,
Like if Gallagher didn't bring out his watermelon.
So I'll not surprise you. I'll be back to see you all.
Where's my mouth?
I'm going to
This
soon
is the
send a request to
COVID-o-matic.
Congress. The vast majority of Americans have used these tools and may want again.
No, they
May
said
need it
Jews in
again.
these
So I
tools.
expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly.
What?
Fourth,
Huh?
we'll continue vaccinating the world.
NB.
We've sent 475 million vaccine doses to 112 countries.
Why?
More than any nation on Earth.
Why?
Pelosi seems fairly alert.
And by the way, don't you love that we sent?
All day.
No, you gave that money to a private company who developed it. By the way, a vaccine that you said you wouldn't trust and you wouldn't take. All three of them on that stage said there's no way we would get a vaccine within 2 years, that they wouldn't trust if it was developed under Donald Trump, and they wouldn't take it. You gave that money to a private company, by the way, privatizing profits because the American taxpayers don't get a share of those profits, and then that company sent it overseas.
Looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line.
Oh, shut
See
up.
it for what it is. A god-awful disease.
That was
Let's
created in the
stop
lab.
seeing each other as enemies.
Really?
And start seeing each other for who we are.
Enemies.
Fellow Americans.
No, you sold that to the American people.
No, they pushed that for a
Yes.
year and a half, and they have said everything they can to make you hate somebody
Here's the
who doesn't wear a
problem.
mask.
No, we have enemies. It's called China. They lied about it. Fauci knew about it. Fauci also hid it. And Fauci also threatened other doctors who tried to point out his lies. We have these emails.
And you carried
We
his
have
water.
enemies. There's nothing. Look, we have plenty of friends. We could use a few enemies. We're looking at you, Wuhan COVID-19 generating lab.
Ding bong, ding dong. I recently visited New York City Police Department days after the funerals of Officer.
Is that
Wilbur
before or
Moore
after you
and his
supported the
partner,
people through a
Officer Jason
Molotov
Rivera.
cocktail through their precinct?
He
Prick.
just said ossifer
They're
like he was
responding
talking
to a
himself out of a
911 call. A
DUI.
man shot and killed him with a
Drink.
stolen gun. Officer Moore was 27 years old. Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both Dominican Americans who grew up in the same streets that they later chose to patrol as police officers.
Boy, son of a...
I
They were
spoke with their
Dominican. They
family.
could have.
Yeah, he
It's
could.
related.
Yeah,
I
he could
told
believe
them
to
they
say
were
patrol
forever
and
in debt
Dominican in
for
the
their
same sentence.
sacrifices and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves.
What?
Like some of you that have been around for a while, I've worked with you on these issues for a long time.
What?
You worked with
I
a
know it
party
works.
who said defund the police,
Investigating
you son of a
crime
bitch.
Prevention and community policing.
The one behind
Cops who
you said
walk
to
the
keep
beat.
doing it.
Who know the
Yeah, she
neighborhood.
raised money
Who can
for
restore
serial
trust and
rapists and felons and their GoFundMe.
In our streets, or choose
And she
between
banged the
safety
mayor.
and equal justice. Let's come together and
She
protect
didn't
our
have to.
communities,
No, she
restore
didn't.
trust, and hold
just
law
wanted to.
enforcement accountable.
Just wanted to put a smile
That's why
on
the
his
Justice
face.
Department has required body cameras, banned chokeholds, and restricted no-knock warrants for its officers. That's why the American
Ban
Rescue
chokeholds
Plan
because I'm sure the perps
that
prefer
you
billy
all
clubs.
provided $350 billion that cities, states, and counties can use to hire more police, invest in more proven strategies.
Well, Pelosi's praying to George Floyd right now, too. So.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you, George Floyd. She's looking down at the clap break.
Yes. Where do I clap again? Can I
She
just
also
say
has
standing
a
through it?
peppermint schnapps IV going into her leg.
Violence interruption, trusted messengers,
Fantastic.
breaking the cycle of violence.
Just
and
has a
trauma,
triple sec patch.
giving young people some hope.
Awful
We should all
mom
agree
from
the answer is
Arrested
not to
Development.
defund the police.
Oh, really?
It's to fund the police.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
What did he just say?
The answer is
It
not
just
to
makes
defund the
common
police. The
sense.
answer is to fund the police.
And Kamala Harris just stood for that?
Yeah. What?
Hold on a second. You have someone who encouraged people to continue rioting behind him. And you have a lady who prayed to the deity of George Floyd stand for funding the police more.
Screw you all.
Are you starting to get the picture?
Democrats and Republicans alike.
No.
Pass
You
my
guys own
budget
that
and
one.
keep our neighborhoods safe.
Well, Kamala's pissed. She's
And
like,
we'll do everything in my
I can't
power
believe
to
you made me
crack down
stand
on
for that
gun
shit.
trafficking.
Joe!
I am looking forward to
You
the
can buy
funding the
online.
police ice cream.
Assemble at home.
Because that's what
I'm just waiting for Kamala to
Can't
blow her
be
lid like,
traced.
hey, Joe, shut
I
the
asked
fuck
Congress to
up!
pass proven measures to reduce
Do you know
gun
what we
violence.
said? It wasn't that long
Pass
ago. It's on
universal
tape.
background
You're making
checks.
us look like an
Why
asshole,
should
Joe.
anyone on the
I
terrorist
used to listen
list
to Tupac
be
in the
able to
70s.
purchase a weapon? Why?
That's a weird clap.
Oh.
You think if you get it closer to him, he can hear?
He's going after the Second Amendment.
Okay, here we
Now,
go.
he's using a
She's acting like
terrorist.
she's in church. Thank you. Watch, she's going to start speaking in tongues.
I believe the ball fell off her nose.
You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests?
No, I think
Look,
that Russia
repeal
might
the
invade,
liability shield
Joe.
that makes gun
Yeah.
manufacturers the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one.
That's not true.
That's
vaccine companies, dumbass.
Imagine had we done that with the tobacco manufacturers.
And
Tobacco
These laws don't
lied.
infringe on the Second
hold on a second,
Amendment.
guys. I have to fact check. Remind me to come back to the
Yeah,
suing of gun companies and comparing it to the vaccine companies because
Yeah.
he lied. Vaccine companies can't be sued. The manufacturers of vaccines, and the difference is those can cause direct harm. Gun companies can be sued if a guy purchased a gun from a local gun shop and then sue Walther, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, even though that's not what it was designed for. Whereas a vaccine can be designed to be injected into someone's body, cause direct damage, and they can't be sued. Okay, let's
the
go.
Vote Act. Pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act.
Oh, like when Michael Moore blamed Kmart for
while you're
Columbine.
Right.
Pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our election. Look.
Yeah, you know what? You first.
Tonight,
Teachers unions.
I'd like to
I
honor
mean,
someone
Pfizer?
who dedicated his life to
Pharmaceutical
serve
companies?
this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran,
His ice cream sucks.
constitutional scholar,
very bad.
retiring Justice of the
Carb
United
Smart's
States
pretty
Supreme
good.
Court.
Well, I don't mind
Justice
the soft
Breyer, thank you for your service.
That was his nickname in college.
Thank you.
We're going to have somebody just like you, except not at all like you, replace you.
He looks like a ladybug who lost her shell.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been great. Oh, I love it.
Oh my God! I had no idea Brian was gay.
That is
He's like,
some gay manner.
like, this has been inconceivable.
You just see Pete Buttigieg's head pop up. What? Huh?
On the United States Supreme Court.
Bucket
Right.
sitting next to him now.
Here we go.
As I did
I
4
haven't had
days
this
ago,
flavor.
Here we go.
I've nominated the Circuit Court of Appeals, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Katanji.
One of
Katanji
our
Brown.
nation's top legal minds
Is that Jackson Brown?
who continue in Justice Breyer's
I'm sorry, hold on. You said top
Legacy of
legal mind? I
excellence.
thought you said you were going to nominate a black female.
Well, that can be a
They
top
can't-
legal mind.
Yeah, but he didn't say that when he said he was going to nominate somebody.
Well, I know.
He should have said
From a
both.
family of public school
He didn't.
educators and police officers.
Sorry, they left for all
She's
the
a
wrong
consensus
reasons.
builder.
It's like
Since
so
she's been
stupid.
nominated, she's received a broad range of support, including the Fraternal Order of Police and former judges.
By the way,
appointed by
this
Democrats
broad
and
he's talking about, 2001, Jackson co-authored an amicus brief in the support of a law that would actually stop pro-life activists from speaking to women outside of abortion clinics.
Oh, really?
From speaking to women outside of abortion
They
clinics.
sign?
Right.
That's it? Yeah.
No, just talking, signs.
Oh.
So this is someone who actively has fought against First Amendment rights. If you don't like people who are pro-life, fine. If you actually believe that you should ban people from speaking outside of abortion clinics, then you don't believe in the First Amendment. This is the broad he chose. Go ahead.
We've installed new technology like cutting-edge scanners.
Or we moved on
to
quickly
better
from the
detect
Supreme Court
drug
nominee.
smuggling.
Want to know why?
We've set up
Because
joint
that's all he could read on her
patrols in
resume.
Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We're putting in place
it was just the
dedicated
name.
immigration judges, a significant larger number, so families fleeing persecution and violence can have their cases heard faster, and those who don't legitimately
Well, he's a
hear can be sent
calligraphy
back.
nut.
It's a big deal
We're
once they get here.
We're securing
Or a
commitments
signature.
and supporting partners in
vote.
South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can
Yeah.
do all this while
They'll get right
keeping
on
lit
it.
the torch of liberty that has led the generation of immigrants to this land. My
Legal
forebears and many
immigrants.
of yours. Provide a pathway to
I
citizenship
love how
for
he's treating the
dreamers.
Statue of Liberty like it's
Those
a
with temporary
bug
status,
zapper.
Farm workers, essential
Yeah.
workers. Revise our
Farm
laws
workers, essential workers, I mean. Did you hear him?
so
He called
businesses
immigrants
have
farm
workers
workers.
they need.
That's all they are to you,
Don't
Joe.
wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do,
Well,
it's
because it's
economically smart thing to
112.
do.
Yeah.
That's
And he
why
used the
immigration
N-word like
reform
9
is
times
supported
in front
by
of Clarence
everyone from
Thomas.
labor unions to religious leaders
Oh,
to the U.S.
in the
Chamber
context,
of
you
Commerce.
don't want to.
Yeah.
Let's get it done
But
in once and
context
for
doesn't
all.
matter unless it's anyone else.
Folks,
We've already done this before, Joe.
By the way, that's his cue. Folks is for them to stand. The diabetes kid is like, my foot
advancing
hurts.
liberty and justice also requires
Porky Pig's
protecting
like,
the
take
rights
it.
of women. The constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade, standing precedent for half a century, is under attack as never before.
Damn straight it
If
is.
you want to go forward, not backwards, we must protect access to health care. Preserve a woman's right to choose.
What does Roe v. Wade
And
have to do with
continue
health care or the
advance
right to
maternal
choose?
health
It's
care.
about some arbitrary interpretation of the right to privacy. Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that, and that's why she didn't support it. Dummy.
Thought you were going to say that's why she died. I don't know.
LGBTQ plus Americans.
Oh,
Let's finally get the bipartisan Equality Act to my desk.
Yes, yes. Right now in this economy,
Yeah.
the most important thing is that a man in a mustache and muumuu can take a shit at a Target.
Wrong.
But what about
I
that
said last year, especially to our younger transgender
person he
Americans,
hired.
I'll always have your back as
with
your
the Beetlejuice
president,
outfit and the
so you
nails?
can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
It's not God-given. It's surgeon-given.
Yeah.
You took away what God gave
God
you,
ta- yes.
and you put a strap on there.
They
Lord
sent it
remove.
back.
Just demonstrated.
Yeah, you
all
signed
often
for us.
appears
And
we do not agree,
he didn't answer the door.
and that we do agree on a lot more things than we acknowledge.
Nope.
No? We
I
don't.
signed 80 bipartisan bills into law last year,
Didn't read a one.
from preventing government shutdowns, to protecting Asian Americans from
Aging?
still too common hate crime,
Did you say Asian?
reforming
It
military
sounded like you said
justice,
Asian Americans.
and will soon be
I heard a
strengthening
mix
the
of
violence
Asian
against
and
women
Haitian,
that
I
first
think.
wrote 3 decades ago.
We heard Asian Americans, and he was thinking Agent Orange.
The bill he wrote 3 decades ago, they'll take out the N-word that he used several
Right.
times. though.
Show the nation.
That's been
Can you just
redacted.
scratch that? Use whiteout.
Which is, in fact, the name of the bill.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm offering a unity agenda for the nation.
Okay, let's see this.
4 big things we can do together, in my view. First, beat the opioid epidemic.
Well, you have to talk to your
So
son.
much we can do.
He's hoarding them.
Start with your own family,
Someone's
Joe.
selling
Now
with-
pharmaceuticals are bad.
And now pharmaceuticals are bad. Yeah.
Back to being bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Reduction and recovery. Get rid of outdated rules and stop doctors that stop doctors from prescribing.
Prescribe them to the people that need
treatments.
it and prescribe them the amount
Stop
they
the flow of
actually
illicit
need.
drugs by working with state and local law enforcement to go after
Stop
the
letting illegal
traffickers.
immigrants
Good
in
And if you're
luck.
suffering
with
from
the
addiction,
pills that are filled with
you
fentanyl
know-
that
you
aren't
know
even
you're
the
not
drugs
alone.
that they're supposed to be.
I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the 23
It
million.
worked like a
So
charm
do
for your
I.
brother. Worked like a charm for his son. Sorry.
Second,
Unreal.
let's take on mental health, especially among our children
Yeah.
whose lives
Especially among
and
our vice
education
presidents.
have been
Especially among our
turned
children who we
upside down.
masked and scared the shit out of for
American
2
Rescue Plan
years.
gave schools money to hire
And threatened
teachers
nuclear
and help
war.
students make up
That'll
for
work.
lost learning. I urge every parent to make sure your school
Teach us about
does
flat
just
Earth.
that. Have the money. We can all play a part. Sign up
You
to be a
shut
tutor or a
down the
mentor.
schools, and we had a
Children were
record
also
number
struggling
of
before
teen
the
suicides
bullying,
in the
violence,
history of the United States, by the way,
harms
and
of social
depression
media.
and generalized anxiety disorders. So,
Francis
okay, all right, let's continue.
Haugen, who is here tonight with us, has shown we must hold social media platforms accountable
Well, but Michael Phelps
for the
said you
national
could call us
experiment they're
like that.
conducting on our children for
I don't
profit.
know how it
Oh,
happened.
don't you love this? This is someone who worked at Facebook, and now what? She's working with the government. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Folks,
But not the way you'd think.
No.
Oh.
thank you.
Who's
We're not
whistle?
doing enough. We're not doing enough
Thank
to
you for the
silence
courage
voices
you
they don't
showed.
like. That's
It's time
literally
to
the
strengthen
point.
privacy protections. Ban targeted advertising to children. Demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children. And let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people.
Yeah, let's start with you and some levodopa.
And
Yeah.
full parity between
And I hope you
physical
know
and mental
it's
health
all
care
Americans
if we
at this
treat it
point,
that
thanks
way
to
in our
you.
insurance.
Literally every one of us.
Look,
Look, folks. You notice he says that every time there's a clap?
He does, yeah.
There's a cue. It's either look or folks.
Yeah.
is
Yeah, it's a
support
crutch.
our veterans. Veterans are the backbone.
What, did Pelosi just fall forward? Did she have to post?
Can we drink for them?
Yeah.
I've always believed
That was an excited clap.
that we're
Too
the
much
sacred
rum in the rum
obligation to
raisin.
equip those we send to war.
By the way,
and care
also
for
no
those and their
raisins.
family when
Yeah.
they come home.
I'll take rum
My
balls minus
administration
the
is
balls.
providing assistance in job training, housing,
ice cream
and now helping lower-income
And then
veterans
Pete
get VA
Buttigieg
care
said, save them for
debt-free.
me.
and our troops in Iraq have faced
I was
in
thinking about
Afghanistan have
most, I
faced
just
many
smell orange
dangers.
juice.
Yeah, they did.
One being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits.
Why is she clapping for that?
What the fuck? What is this?
What is that?
Did you see that shit? Nancy Pelosi goes,
40 times.
Yeah.
Because
They have black lung. The waste of war.
because
medical
she's drunk.
and hazardous materials, jet fuel, and so much more.
Dude, she
And they
went.
come home.
Play ball.
Yeah, like she did it like she was a fly on shit.
Trained
Yes.
warriors in the world.
Burn
Never the
pits.
same.
She's the lady from Christmas
Headaches,
Vacation right now.
numbness, Dizziness.
All right, sorry, hold on.
Cancer that would put them in a flag.
She wraps up her cat. It's fine. Just go in the other room.
I know.
How much you want to bet she brought a Jello mold to this?
For sure.
One of those.
What did you just say?
One of those soldiers is my
individual
son,
shot
Major Beau
glasses?
Biden.
Oh.
I don't know for sure if the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near, in Iraq and earlier than that,
you just say that his
in Kosovo,
Hooch was near?
was the cause of his brain cancer, the disease
still don't know what
of
that
so
means.
many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can. Committed to military families like Danielle Robinson from Ohio, the widow of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson. He was born a soldier, Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards from burn pits the size of football fields. Danielle is here with us tonight. They love going to Ohio State football games.
Look, and obviously your heart goes out to any veteran that
God
were killed.
bless your husband for serving.
God bless your husband for serving. But the fact that he's now talking about burn pits and Ohio State football games tells you how paper thin. He spent less than, maybe we can bring it, 20 seconds on the Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah.
And he spent less than 2 minutes on the actual economy.
Cancer from prolonged exposure to burn
Prep
pits.
video too.
Ravaged. Heath's
Speaking
lungs
from
and
someone
body.
whose family is still waiting on that
Danielle
check,
says
good
Heath
luck.
was a fighter
Yeah.
to the very
I'm
end.
kidding.
He didn't
And
know
I
how
mean
to
that
stop fighting.
wholeheartedly to that family.
Yeah.
Neither
and
did
person who
she.
served.
Through her pain,
Yeah,
she
you
found
should
purpose
pay her.
to demand that we do better. Tonight, Danielle, we are going to do better. The VA.
No, you're not.
The VA is pioneering new ways of linking toxic exposure to disease, already helping more veterans get benefits. And tonight, I'm announcing we're expanding eligibility to veterans suffering from 9 respiratory cancers. I'm also calling on Congress
apply to those who took the
pass a law
vaccine?
to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits of the
How
comprehensive
about Vietnam, Joe?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go back to that one, or you
Because
just gonna
there's
let
still
those guys
people
die?
waiting. A lot of people.
Yeah. I'd be for that.
Yeah.
Sign that bill tomorrow, baby.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
You should know you were in politics then.
Yes.
You could have done something about it then and now.
Right.
Last, let's end
You
cancer
know, when
as
you were
we
in your
know
mid
it.
50s.
Oh, wait, this is...
This is personal.
Let's end cancer as we know it. Look, they just looked down.
Let's hear. It says clap.
Is cancer bad?
I think so. Is it in Ukraine? It says
Sorry, I wasn't as excited as I was to stand up for the burn
This
pit.
is personal to me and to Jill. and
Cancer just
Kamala.
doesn't get me as enthused.
So many
At
of
the
you.
tennis club, I threw up on
So
a
many
waiter
of you have
today.
lost someone you love. Husband, wife, son, daughter, mom, dad.
Did they watch
Shouldn't
the
have
West
eaten
Wing?
the pea soup.
Cancer is the number 2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease.
Yeah, COVID's not on the
Last
list.
month, I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago.
Oof.
Our goal is to cut cancer death rates
nice that D.
by at
Snyder
least
came out.
50% over the next 25 years. And I think we can do better than that. Turn cancers from death sentences into treatable diseases. More support for patients and their families.
Who's going to
get
do
there, I
that? Those
call on
evil
Congress to
pharmaceutical
fund
companies? I just want to make sure
what
I
I
understand.
called ARPA-H, Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, patterned after DARPA in the Defense Department.
Here's the
Projects
thing.
that
This
led
sounds
into
good. Do you really
DARPA,
believe the government's
the
going?
internet,
They couldn't
GPS,
figure out
and
that
so much
COVID
more.
came from the COVID-named lab.
John Stewart had to
Wage
tell
war
them.
more with more
Well, it sounds
clarity.
good until you can buy stock in
ARPA
it.
will
Right.
have a singular purpose: to drive breakthroughs in cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes.
Well,
and
that
more.
second one is certainly has been a
unity
rush
agenda
order for
the
you.
nation. We can do these things. It's within our power, and I don't see a partisan edge to any one of those 4
Really?
things. My fellow
don't?
Americans, tonight
How much you want to bet he walked into that office? He's like, I want a cure for
we
Alzheimer's.
gather in
Fucking
this sacred
now.
space the citadel of democracy, in this capital, generation after generation of Americans have debated great questions amid great strife and have done great things.
Pelosi's definitely.
Did you say make great strife? He meant to say make great strides.
Strife.
He said strife.
In fairness, that was a Freudian slip.
Right.
We built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation the world has ever known.
And you're trying to tear it down.
Did he just say we
Now is
broke
the
the most
hour.
prosperous nation?
Built.
Our moment of responsibility, our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found.
Horrible character.
Our future is forged. Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test.
I have no neck.
Protect freedom and liberty. Expand fairness and opportunity. And we will save democracy. As hard as those times have been, I'm more optimistic about America
Save
today
democracy?
than I've been
You
my
said it was
whole
the
life,
freest and
because
fairest
I see
election
the
ever.
future that's within our grasp.
How?
Because I know there's simply nothing beyond our capacity.
Oh yeah.
We're the only nation on
Beyond
earth
our
that has always
Damascus.
turned
Huh?
every crisis
What?
we faced
Beyond our
into an
masks.
opportunity.
Saw a bright light.
The only nation that can be defined by a single word: possibilities. So on this night, on our 245th year as a
What, being
nation,
pushed in front of a train?
I've come to report on the state of the nation, the state of the union. And my report is this: the state of the
We're getting
union
our
is
asses
strong
kicked.
because you, the American people, are strong. We
And
are
I am
stronger
not.
today.
Exactly. Our government's not doing us any favors. Thank God you are strong.
Yes. Thank God you're strong because I'm very feeble and my heart is run by wires and bent back paper clips.
This is our
I have
moment.
pool cues on each side of my shoes, duct taped to keep my knees up.
And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Huh?
Go get him.
Huh? Go get them.
Go get who? He said go get him.
By the way, he didn't say God bless America. He said God bless you and God protect our troops.
Oh, liver spots back there.
I really
Oh
want
my
to hear
gosh.
what Tapper says. Like,
Okay, let's
is he
hear what
gonna
Tapper
extol-
says. It should be
An hour
sucked.
and 2 minutes, a very strong beginning. Several bipartisan moments of standing ovations
No.
for the people of
No.
Ukraine.
7
against
times
the
he
invasion
forgot
by
who he
Putin's
was.
Russia.
Yes.
Lots of applause for holding Putin and Russian oligarchs accountable, followed by a call for his domestic agenda, including traditional Biden calls for infrastructure, changes to the tax code, a Made in America agenda. There was the traditional laundry list of
Right, so hold on really
items he
quickly. Before we go to
wanted.
CNN's commentary, actually, again, the promo code is Biden Fact Check. Okay, it's available tonight for the next 24 hours. You get $20 off at Mug Club, where we'll be doing another 45 minutes of show tonight. $45 off. You go to loudoscrowder.com/Mug Club, and we also have footage, actually. So some of you are wondering, how did he prepare for this debate? And we actually got exclusive footage just to his debate prep, actually. This is 2 beers in. And turns out he brought in, he brought in the second big guy. So here.
Vice President, Dad, are you okay?
He didn't even smoke any, Hunter.
Maybe it's a contact high. I mean, Finna gangster, this is some grade A genre. Maybe his dementia medicine's wearing off. What do you think, Pasaki Jawea?
Circle back.
He's got to do the State of the Union in a little bit, and he's full retard.
Have you tried hitting him?
Nah, we're not supposed to hit him anymore. One more good bump on the noggin, and it's hello, President Kamala, and goodbye, America.
Didn't you already sell our secrets to the Chinese?
Dude, shut up. Not in front of my dad. Saki doesn't even know about that.
Circle back. Circle back.
Give him his pills then.
Oh, damn, those are my dad's pills? That's why I got the Hershey squirts. I thought it was an STI from my dead brother's wife.
Don't circle back, Hunter. Don't circle back.
saw you looking down her shirt while she lay over Bo's casket weeping.
He's back.
Nice work, Jackrabbit. I knew you'd wake the former vice president up. And now the cheese is all ours.
Well, it doesn't seem like the most. It doesn't seem like the most prudent debate prep.
Well, whatever works.
Right. And we'll
got 'em up.
Don't judge.
We'll be taking your chats and also giving a full wrap-up, of course, on Mug Club. But we'll be doing a wrap-up here, then taking your chats, loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. Before we do that and go to CNN really quickly.
We got some dates coming up for
Oh,
you
yeah, that's right. Dave and I will be on tour.
Yeah. So May 4th. So lots of these shows are already sold out. So you really got to jump on these. May 14th, Tulsa Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma. June 18th, Pikes Peak Center in Colorado Springs.
Oh, okay, in Colorado Springs. Okay, great. Yeah.
So go to the
guys,
website, louderwithcrowder.com/tour.
All right, right now, let's go see how CNN is kissing his ass.
As we all know, he thinks about unity, but tonight he made it functional.
As we all know.
This idea of a unity agenda, these are not wildly controversial ideas. Combating opioids.
Getting
investing
rid of
in
the Second
cutting-edge
Amendment?
health issues. These are the kinds of things that are going to be very hard for people to argue against. And I think that's the phase.
Yeah, unless you sit them across from him.
Anderson Cooper.
Actually,
Anderson,
unless you've
about
spent the
first
last
third of the
5 years destroying unity in this country, it's easy to argue that you don't give a shit, pardon me, about unity.
Gerald!
I know, I'm pissed.
My heavens.
That guy is so gay. Breyer is, look at that right now. It's like, oh, stop. Stop.
How do you think U.S. allies are
Stop.
reacting to the president?
Next to Anderson Cooper, Justice Breyer looks gayer.
Even Anderson Cooper's like, this is making me uncomfortable.
This is excessive.
Traditional State of the Union speech. And what he said, I think, showed resolution, showed determination.
Nice that Rachel Dratch is
I
there.
do wonder, Anderson, whether there should have been more on
Fareed
foreign policy,
Zakaria.
more on Ukraine.
Maybe.
Not so much for the allies, for whom he has been supporting and reassuring, but for the
Hey, did you
American
hear when I said I was
people.
going to stop cancer?
Yeah, I'm not. The president will at some point need to explain.
I don't know if you heard.
Stop it.
Why do they have the black guy from the
just
Allstate
how
commercials behind him there?
consequential this is, what the
Are you in
stakes
good
are,
hands?
Like, are you in good
why
hands?
it is
Like,
so
huh?
important for
Liver
Americans
spot,
to
what?
care
Let me smell you and
about,
see.
this
Hunter just
transgression
drove
question
into
of
9
borders,
people.
this
Swalwell's
aggression
like
so far
nosing
away.
in. Can you sign my badge?
Yeah.
Prices that have to be paid.
Eric Swalwell
And
was
those prices
banging
may
a
be
Chinese
long-term.
spy. This
I wish
man
there had
is
been a little
still
bit more,
walking
maybe this is
amongst you.
special pleading. On
He's
my
still
part, he clearly had a big
representing you.
domestic agenda.
He was
wanted to go
banging
through,
a
but I
Chinese
felt the
spy.
one
Just to be
area
clear,
where I would have
there's no
liked to see
Snopes,
more
there's no PolitiFact that even says kinda true. It's 100% true, and he is within a hair's distance of the former vice president of the United States.
Well,
For crying out loud, I don't even know if he last wiped himself on the curtains since his most recent session with a Chinese spy.
It's fine now. He's dating a new Russian girl. I hear she's very nice.
Russian aircraft to the United States.
Loves him for
The
him.
president, though,
Yes.
did
That's only
frame
because the
conflict
Ukrainian
as
girls
not
were
just
just, there was a shortage.
as freedom versus tyranny, as democracy versus autocracy, which is something that
When have
President
you
Zelensky,
cared about freedom?
had
Let's be
spoken
clear about
as
this.
well.
He's talking about a Supreme Court,
That has been a
Supreme Court
familiar
nominee,
Biden theme
right? Brown
even
Jackson,
before the
who
election.
signed an amicus
He-
brief in
he does
2001
believe
that banned
democracy
people
has
from
been tested.
discussing
He believes
pro-life
that Vladimir
options in
Putin
front
is
of Planned
testing it, that
Parenthood. I can't think of a more blatant violation of the First Amendment.
So it
Well,
is.
Stephen,
It is an
she's-
apt way
Who's
to
that
describe
man?
it.
I don't know.
But you're right, Anderson.
Looks like he's
there
wearing
was no
Hulk Hogan's
new
outfit from
policy
Tropic,
really
Tropic Down. Was it
Russia.
Tropic Down Under?
The
Thunder Down Under?
The ban on
Oh,
Russian
Thunder
aircraft is a very
in Paradise.
small
Thunder in Paradise.
incremental adjustment.
It's so sad.
I'm glad only 2 of us know this.
How in the world?
Exactly what we're talking about.
Probably going
Dave's
to
like,
need
I
to
don't
be
remember other things, but
daily
that.
No, I
adjustments,
don't
by
remember
which I
most of
mean
my childhood.
costs have to keep ratcheting
Well,
up
the
for
beatings,
Vladimir
Dave.
Putin.
Yeah, I do remember the beating.
And Biden framed the whole issue very powerfully.
That guy,
I
yeah,
just
he feels like
hope
he
that
Wait, you
Americans
heard
understand
powerful?
that this does
Yeah, you heard
not-
powerful?
This does
Really?
not come cost-free.
Putin's like,
And it seemed to me he was
look at
anxious
that
to get
guy.
to the
Putin
very
is going to have a
important part
sore
of his
hand from
domestic
smacking
agenda,
his 190-yard
where he said some
table.
Very important things. But you know, this
Do you have
crisis
any
is not
idea
going
as to the
That guy has
throbbing
2 masks.
vascularity of Putin's erection right now?
Oh, it's massive. It's actually lifting the
timeline of this crisis, and it's of course impossible to know unless one can get inside the head of Vladimir Putin, and events on the ground will determine it. But this could
he's
be
not deterred.
a very long and
Why are you
drawn-out
outside? I don't believe you're outside. There's no breath.
That's right. When Dr. Fauci was asked about the timeline for
Bring him in.
for ending various measures, he said, "You don't make the timeline. The virus makes the timeline."
Just walks in
well,
with two
it's not
dead
quite
beagles.
comparable,
Yes.
but we don't make the timeline here. It's a very complicated international crisis. And Vladimir Putin has a say.
I'm trying to do my sandfly experiments.
And we have to
Bring in the beagles.
Imagine
Yes,
prepare
I'm Dr.
for
Fauci
a
by
long
day,
crisis.
but by night, I am Mr. Sandfly.
Oh, Mr. Sandfly.
How does that cure
Just takes
COVID?
his serum.
It doesn't.
Bring me a dog.
Bring me more beagles.
Just opens his mouth. It's like Candyman farewell to the flesh, but sandflies.
I said sandflies, not bees.
Michael Clark Douglas? What?
Duncan.
Duncan.
Hey, Edmont, drink. Gerald is slurring.
I didn't slur. I just got the name wrong.
In fairness, it was the least dumb slur tonight.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan, 380-pound black guy.
Totally
Michael Douglas,
acceptable.
guy who got HPV going down on Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That's true.
True, yeah.
The best way.
100% true.
Before he was married to Catherine Zeta-Jones, he sounded like, he sounded like his dad, Kirk and Spartacus.
Yeah.
After, he sounded like Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man.
I should have never munched on that, Spider-Man.
No, after he's like, I'm much happier now.
He just said, worth it.
Yes.
Worth it.
Required any sacrifice on the part of Americans.
my gosh.
What he did say is that I want
Tell
you
me.
to know that we're going to be okay.
Oh, well, that's nice.
How are we going to be okay with weak foreign policy?
Because he's going, he doesn't, they're going to take more of your money.
Well, that doesn't make me
Stupid son of a bitch.
Hey.
He doesn't get it.
I mean,
guys, he doesn't get it. Admonish him. How is he going to make it better? He's going to take more of your money.
It's not.
He's going to print more money, leave weapons in places we shouldn't.
Yes. Come on.
What did you skip Keynesian economics or Keynesian? I don't care.
Keynesian?
It is kind of funny. He left a bunch of weapons in the Middle East, and his son left weapons in a trash can outside of elementary school. They're just good at leaving weapons.
They just leave them wherever
It
they
just makes common sense.
Yeah. His son left a handgun in a dumpster outside an elementary school, and then his dad said, hold my schnapps. And he left 10 Blackhawks in Afghanistan.
Pallets
Hold
of
my
cash.
lactate.
Can we bring up that tweet you were showing me?
You knew it was really distasteful when they used the fighter jets that were left to spell out Joe Rogan is short in the
Right.
sky. You're like, come on, ISIS.
One of the people that I hate the most on this topic, I'm going to have him bring it up real quick. Robert Reich, right, said Biden said
You usually shouldn't express any controversial opinions if your name is Reich.
He shouldn't, right? Perhaps his entire first term will be remembered for the measured and powerful way he has dealt with Putin's aggression. Whoever imagined this would be a significant part of Biden's legacy? Are you kidding me?
By the way, his middle name's Third.
Well, I wanted to know if he was the third or not, just to be safe. How can you view that speech and go, this is powerful, this is measured, right? No. You have stopped Putin from doing nothing.
You've stopped him from doing nothing.
Decided
and now
to
you are
invade
driving
Ukraine.
him into the arms of China by implementing economic sanctions. Look, I don't believe I just don't think that economic sanctions like that work if it is not combined with severe military action. You either need to be all in or all out. It's just like a fight. You have no business fighting. When people talk about getting into bar fights on the street, it's so silly because the amount of damage that can be done, the unintended consequences, maybe you just think you're going to slap somebody around.
Yeah.
He's out cold, he hits his head in the concrete. If you ever get into a physical altercation, you either need to be you need to completely avoid it and de-escalate, or be as swift and as violent as possible.
Yeah.
There should be no in-between. Economic sanctions without swift military action is foolish because, just as we've seen with the drug war, they're going to find an ally somewhere. And like the point you made about Germany and Russia, you go from World War II to allies again. In World War I to allies again in World War II until Germany decided they were going to say, no, just kidding. I had my fingers crossed.
No.
So that's what's happening with China and Russia. They're not natural allies.
No.
But you're seeing what's happening with the embargo on wheat being removed. You're seeing what's happening with the hundreds of billions of dollars in increases in trade.
Yeah.
You're seeing what's happening with China now supporting Russia, or at least condemning the United States diplomatically.
Not calling it an invasion.
Well, if it was a bar fight, this is kind of like him intervening and threatening to pay Putin's bar tab.
Yes.
No, what he's doing is he's saying, here are sanctions. They'll take a month to take effect and really hit them. And Ducey asked this question to Jen Psaki.
Well, it's good when you're in another country.
Right. Do you think that the Ukrainians have a month? Because I think they're dying right now.
Yeah.
Maybe if we just stop buying their oil today, it would make a difference.
I mean, for crying out loud, supplies have been shut off. The Klitschko's just made welterweight.
Well,
but when he brought up them burning, what's her face?
Piles. Oh yeah, she's
Burn.
like, baby,
She's
burn,
like,
baby,
no.
burn.
She didn't, it's worse than that. Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if we can bring that back
Pelosi
up,
went
but that is the clip when he said people who have lung damage from breathing in toxic fumes and burn pits. She tripped over the desk, trying to clap, and went like if she were a superhero, she would just be the Fly, but this is her only power. I am the cricket.
Tell me she didn't look like Christmas Vacation lady.
She did.
Tell me she didn't.
What was she think? This is what happens when you have people who fear no accountability. You know why? Look, that was absolutely insane. Okay?
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if Mike Pence, if during a speech Donald Trump said something like, I don't know, and the China virus, I don't like the Chinese, which he never said, and Mike Pence went,
I love him.
And started doing like a Justin Bieber heart or some shit. Guess what? It would be everywhere. They know. They're not even concerned about anyone on CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS. I'm sure we can flip around to see their reactions saying, this was pretty rough.
Yeah. No.
That's not healthcare. It's the light from the sewage treatment plant.
Yeah. Clark.
Well, I will say, actually, it's not... I think that Cousin Eddie had it perfectly right. This speech, the shitter was full.
Tons of
Yes.
Hey, got it all out there. Don't worry.
Toxic smoke.
Okay, here we go.
From burn pits.
Yeah.
That's insane.
You've been there.
What is she doing? Is she trying to throw her voice?
She heard clapping and she wasn't paying attention, so she stood up giddy and smiling.
Yeah.
For people's death.
Not to mention when he mentioned cancer, she started twerking.
Yeah,
Why?
it was
What?
weird. Which you really can't do with that.
No, she can't. It just it sounds like one of those noise clackers that you get at you get at Chuck E. Cheese when you're a kid with like your 90 tokens. Just clack, 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 clack. My hip. Next, tomorrow she's on a commercial with Sally Field. I have osteoporosis.
Yeah.
Through a horrific twerking accident.
Right now, there's homeless people crabbing on my driveway. I'm watching through my Ring doorbell camera.
Hey, please look at the bottom of this. Tapping oil. They just moved it. Tapping oil supplies to kind of blunt the price increase. 3 days.
Yeah.
People from around the world have released 60 million barrels of oil. 3 days of supply in the United States.
Yeah, 3 days of supply in the United States.
What are we doing on day 4, Joe?
Look, here's also something that we need to talk about. Look, it's very easy to but to mitigate the damage being done to the American people. Now, what did he say? We're gonna force companies to pay $15 an hour. By the way, the same companies that they forced to close. That worked like a charm, didn't it? Just look at the economic results of red states and blue states. For example, compare New York to Texas or Florida. You can debate about the spread of the virus, even though it looks like red states did relatively better than blue states. Though you can say, okay, maybe it's a wash. There can be no debate at all. None. Just to be clear, none. There's no both sides of the issue as far as the disastrous economic ramifications that happen with shutting down businesses. His remedy now is to what? Force businesses to pay more. Okay, there are things that we can do right now to solve this issue as it relates to the average American, which he doesn't want to discuss. By the way, use the hashtag Biden Fact Check. That's the promo code, $20 off at louderwithcredit.com/mugclub. We're doing this stream live tonight, live fact checking, a lot that goes into producing it. We make no money on YouTube. Here's what we can do. Open up our own oil reserves. Now, not only does that help the United States, right? Open up not only our own oil reserves, but open up, as opposed to shutting down the Keystone pipeline, open up our own natural gas, oil reserves, and even clean coal technology. Not only does it allow us to help our own citizens as it deals with gas prices, not only does it allow us to be independent, but like we saw in 2016 under Donald Trump, for the first time in modern American history, it allows us to be a net exporter of oil. What does that mean, being a net exporter of oil? It means that we can send out more oil than we bring in. Hey, who would we be sending that to? Could that benefit people in the Ukraine? Could that benefit people in Europe, particularly people who might be dependent on oil supplies like the Nord Stream pipeline? Right, this is the Nord Stream 2. I'm assuming there's a 1. I have no idea.
It was the first effort.
Yeah, by the way, I have no idea. But what is it? Russia is responsible for, is it 10%? Is it 1%, 10% of the world's oil supply? But they're one of the single biggest producers of oil for all of Europe. I can find this any second. You guys can bring it up. I don't exactly know what the number is, but the point is, we're now at $100 a barrel for oil per day.
Yeah.
and they're talking about 3-day supply of oil.
And we were already at a high gas price anyway.
We were already at a high gas
Oil was going up. This wasn't just a Russia thing.
When the United States focuses on its own interests, it can benefit the rest of the world. And you know what? It's a perfect analogy. People say you need to put on your own oxygen mask before you help the person next to you, right in the plane. That's you as a passenger. Okay. There is no more clear-cut example of the pilot than the United States. So if you're a passenger, you need to put on your own oxygen mask first so you can help the person next to you. The pilot certainly should put his own oxygen mask on first. How do you know that we're the pilot? Well, we're the most powerful country in the world, not only the free world. We were paying all of NATO, more than the rest of the countries combined, 4 years. How do you know that the United States is the pilot? Because when shit goes wrong in the Ukraine or across Europe, they look to the United States, the pilot. So guess what? Open our own energy reserves here so we can help ourselves, and that allows us to help nations overseas. Also, when we're talking about energy, so we open up our own resources. And this is the key. You can't say wars for oil, right? No FX, rock against Bush, and now act like that's not a huge component here with Russia and the Ukraine. Of course, it has to do with energy. Something else that we need to be doing is looking at the most effective forms of energy. He won't talk about this because the Democratic Party has maligned it for years. Nuclear energy is not only zero carbon emissions, just to be clear, entirely clean, but there have been 3 accidents, and this is what the media decided to, of course, sexify, glorify. 3 Mile Island, right? Chernobyl and Fukushima. And in those cases, particularly Fukushima, almost all of the deaths came from the actual evacuation plan. There is no form of energy that has a lower amount of deaths per kilowatt hour produced of energy than nuclear energy. And it is something that we can use. It is something that is effectively renewable. It is something that actually creates very little waste. And it is something that is available to us right now with no carbon emissions. To see more clear-cut examples, look at the difference between France and Germany. Look who cut their carbon emissions. France, primarily nuclear energy, versus Germany, who went to renewables, wind and solar, and not only did they increase their carbon emissions, they would have brownouts. They would have to sell energy at a net negative cost. So no one is saying we wouldn't like to move to all electric everything, but right now it needs to be powered by something. And right now we're powered by oil that comes from places overseas, as you have seen. By the way, up until last week, well, this week, former Vice President Joe Biden signed off on the Nord Stream pipeline going through Russia, when one of the first actions he had taken as president was shutting down the Keystone pipeline here in North America. So up until last week, he supported us being dependent on foreign oil. So if we want to go electric in the future and you believe that it runs on sunshine and farts, accept reality now, it requires energy. Well, where does that come from? Do you want it coming from the United States? Or do you want it coming from Russia? Do you want it coming from Saudi Arabia? Then, do you want it coming from zero carbon emission nuclear energy that we can use here in a safe, reliable manner? Or do you want nothing? Because that's what you'll get with wind and solar when you're dealing with that kind of infrastructure. Just look at Solyndra. Look at these companies that the government has tried to shove down your throat. There are things we can do right now to make us less dependent on the rest of the world and tyrants, as former Vice President Joe Biden put it, like Vladimir Putin, right now. But he doesn't want to do that. Up until last week, he supported buying more oil from Putin.
Absolutely. And you know how I know that nuclear is totally safe? They put it in things that are getting shot at. The entire point, put it on a sub, put it on a carrier, those things are targets. If it was so dangerous,
wasn't Chernobyl like one guy's arrogance anyway?
Well, it was the Russian. It was the Russian system,
but it was like wasn't it just like one guy?
It was horrible oversight with the Russians.
like horrible oversight to begin with.
Terrible oversight.
Yeah, which basically started with a
they didn't want
measuring
the rest of the
contest.
World. Yeah, exactly.
The domino effect.
Lots of vodka.
Yeah.
Lots of vodka, and then people had 3 testicles. We don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they necessarily had 3 testicles. Some of them are starting off with 2.5.
Actually, the button to shut it down was at the other end of Putin's table, and so it took a while to get.
He's like, why did they have 250 on the table? I can't reach easy button.
They were in a meeting, and they were like, the buttons at the end.
Somebody go get it.
Can you slide button like Heinz ketchup in Jim Carrey commercials from 80s?
This is actually a fact. Before Chernobyl, they had regular-sized tables.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It was normal.
He just walked in. He's like, what happened to my pine wood?
Right after the meltdown, just
long tables, really big. Russian response from the governor of Iowa. Do you want to hear any?
Republican response. You just said Russian response, you son of a bitch.
Hell, she's wearing red.
Yeah.
It looked like...
I'll drink. Fine.
I think I saw her in the Ivan Drago montage.
Hammering families a violent crime wave was crashing our cities, and the Soviet army was trying to redraw the world map. Even before taking the oath of office, the president told us that he wanted to, quote, make America respected around the world again, and to unite us here at home.
As a weakling.
He's failed on both fronts. The disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal did more than cost American lives. It betrayed our allies and emboldened our enemies. North Korea is testing missiles again at an alarming rate.
Again about 40
the
minutes
Speaker
ago.
of the House recently warned our Olympic athletes not to speak out against China. And now Russia.
That being said, I would be willing to have been wrong all this time
military
if
invasion
George Floyd
of
is
Ukraine,
actually a deity and
an
he just
attack
sends
on
locusts
democracy,
onto like Nancy
freedom,
Pelosi's face.
and the rule of law. Now all Americans
like,
must
what?
stand united in
If he came
solidarity
down
with
and
the brave
slapped her,
people of Ukraine.
For sure.
As they
No, yeah, I mean, I would
defend
just a
their
good
country
crippling
against
backhand.
Putin's
I would
tyranny
kill every
as they
person in
fight
this
for their
room if that
freedom.
would allow me to see that.
But we shouldn't ignore
Yeah.
what happened in the run-up to Putin's invasion.
Because he's a killjoy.
Waiving
But Floyd will bring you
sanctions
back to
on
life.
Russian
Yeah.
pipelines.
Profit.
Yeah,
while
bring you back to life.
eliminating oil
I'm not sure that's one of his
He'll just
production
go,
here at home.
boop, fentanyl.
He might have used it already if it were day.
He'll just go, boop,
Well,
8-ball.
He hasn't resurrected yet.
8-ball. It's like the smelling salts of cut foods.
Heal thyself, physician.
All right.
Let's stay out of this one.
By the way, this is one thing when people ask why don't I more regularly support Republicans, it's because it's pretty tough to get behind this.
I know. It's a little lackluster.
Here's the thing. You watched us fact check this in real time, and we'll do more fact checking. This obviously had to be written beforehand.
Yes.
It's almost like when they do rap battles and like, oh, I have this cipher. You're like, you just rapped about a place where I've never lived and never even been, and my mother's name is not Ethel.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that it was prepared beforehand. This is prepared beforehand, and they try to make minor changes.
Yeah.
This isn't real. It's why I do change my mind. It's why we do things like Man in the Street where it's unedited and you just discuss with people. This isn't real. It's not designed to reach the American people. This speech right now is designed to reach the Republican donors who will say, I really like that Kim Reynolds because, she seems to be a good governor, plus she has breasts, so we really need to put her up on the ticket.
Yeah, she's definitely the wild and out of politics.
Yes.
Just Nick Cannon winning everything.
Listen, you have Joe Biden. You couldn't have put like a young, like well-spoken person in there, like to be the juxtaposition. You had to match it.
For crying out loud, you could have put Bobby Jindal on. I'd feel like I'm on Molly.
Yeah. Do any of them have their own teeth? Anybody in politics?
From across that checkout
I'm not
counter,
entirely
I
sure.
saw the pain
Those
of
aren't hers.
inflation on my neighbors' faces.
Well, it's
it's
old.
It's
old.
Prices
I don't know what
rise
she's talking
faster
about,
than
but I like
wages.
that sentence.
The Biden
It's all big
administration
fix-a-dent.
believes
Add it again.
inflation is a quote high-class problem.
We need to grow more corn.
I was
tell you,
pulling
it's
teeth
an
out of my
everybody
neighbors'
problem.
faces.
I saw moms
Let's
and
get the most
dads
mousy
paychecks
sounding
biting less
governor.
and less.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I
corn,
watched
let's
working
go
people
overseas for
choose
more of
which
that as well.
essentials to take
Yeah.
home.
She
and
said,
which
decided
ones
tonight to go
leave
with
behind.
Handmaid's Tale chic.
And now President Biden's
Is it handmaid or
decisions
handmaidens?
have a
Did anyone
whole
know what the
new
Ukrainian flag
generation
looked like
feeling
5
that
days ago?
same pain.
Probably not.
I actually knew because I
When
knew
I
a
took
girl
the
in
oath of
high
office
school
5
who
years
gave me
ago,
she lent me Chrono Trigger for my Super Nintendo, and I never gave it back. Sorry, Cecilia. And then he had the Ukrainian flag when we did the cultural fair.
Ah,
Yeah.
At least that didn't end with HPV.
No.
But you don't have to check groceries to
Not
see
as far
what
as I know.
high
Not that
inflation
lucky.
does to people.
Sorry, Cecilia, it was a great RPG. Chrono Trigger is rare now. It goes for $400 on eBay.
I remember her lower back and going, what flag is that?
But I guess you have the last laugh.
And they'll tell you. And I can tell you what's not on that list.
Tell us.
They won't tell you that spending trillions more and bankrupting their children is the
Did you really have
answer
to wear
to
the
their
team
problems.
colors?
They won't tell you that we should be paying people
I thought it was a fashion
not
thing. I thought
to
red was
work.
in.
And they certainly won't
People
tell
wearing
you
red.
That's what
that
they do.
we should give billions in tax giveaways to
Ukrainian
millionaires
flag
and billionaires.
All right,
and
okay, let's do this.
Democratic
Let's give our wrap up, and then we'll go to take some chat on Mug Club because you know what? I'd be more interested to hear Ben Shapiro's rebuttal.
thought
but
we were
guess
on
he's
Mug
issuing
Club.
to- No, we're not on Mug Club right now. Oh, what'd
dear.
you say?
Nothing bad.
All right, what do you think there, Gerald? Your wrap up. It'll be more interesting than Governor Kim Reynolds.
Yes. So I think he did all the things we thought he would do, right? He didn't
his
specifically
pants.
blame Donald Trump for the NATO
Mostly.
thing. So I was a little surprised by that. I thought he was going to at least hint at that, like the former administration.
That tells me they
policies
had
or
a
whatever.
focus group and they realized it was an impossible sell.
Exactly. Like they're like, you can't do
Good
that.
point.
I was a little surprised that he stumbled as much as he did. Like I thought he would actually be able to string a few more sentences together. We were drinking. You kept hitting the damn button, Tim. You're a little bit too on top of that. And so he stumbled through this.
My fault.
And I'm not surprised at all. This is something that I thought obviously would happen, that the water would be carried by every analyst on CNN, no problem.
Of course.
He's powerful. He's strong. Robert Reich, you absolute moron, measured, powerful response that did nothing to keep Putin from invading Ukraine and killing its citizens as you wrote that?
Right.
That's powerful to you? I think powerful means somebody stays out of their neighboring country. You know, Kamala, the small country next to the big country and the big country and invaded the small country, that place, that's power.
Right.
And he didn't address that. And then he blamed the economy on all kinds of things. But here's what you needed to hear. The government knows best. We're going to take your money and spend it on everybody else.
By the way, while completely refusing to acknowledge that the government knows best policies, which led us here, played any hand in where we are right now. It was government knows best. You mean government knows best, like shut down businesses? Government knows best, like hand out checks indefinitely? Government knows best, like shut down schools and go to Zoom calls? And by the way, the only reason they ever opened up was because of the gnashing of teeth and wailing from conservative moms who, by the way, had a huge wins in Virginia and almost in New Jersey. So the same turnover that happened that you fought, now you're trying to take as a win and saying, by the way, government knows best. Government, absolutely. I don't think there's ever been a more clear-cut example. Created the mess that we're in, and now he's trying to say, but don't worry, government can fix it.
Get you out.
Yeah.
Just give us more money. Give us more power. Do what we ask, and we will get you out.
No,
of
do
this
what we
mess that
they don't
put you-
ask.
Well, that's true. Well,
come on.
Ask.
Yeah. No,
it's a suggestion.
Right, yeah. And rape is just, it's just
Suggestion?
it's just, well, I wouldn't even say suggestion. I mean, it's forward.
Yes.
It's
It
what the
just
government.
makes common sense. Bold. I'd say bold, assertive.
Yeah.
Dominant.
How do you trust a guy like that, though? He's proven that he can.
Rapist?
In 1 year, the president, not the I mean, it's close. He
Yeah.
smells people and touches them in weird ways. But
By people, you mean children.
Yes. How do you trust a guy that
And
in
by
1
rape-
year has done nothing good?
I mean children.
In 1 year, he has shown you every single measure. Nobody trusts this guy. And he's like, just give me more power. Give me more money. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I'll fix it this year.
Right.
We're going to cut $1 trillion out of the debt. Really?
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
You know what our
But
budget
we're gonna end all the burn pits. And Nancy Pelosi's like, yes,
burn pits. Burn, baby, burn.
Pits. This is a good time to release my song. It's a burn pit. Oh,
From
whoa,
burn
whoa,
pits.
whoa, it's a burn pit.
Yes, burn.
Talking about my little burn pit.
I just don't know where this came from. Did she go to clap and she was like, I don't have fingers that move right now?
I think she just wanted to feel.
She just got so confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was high as hell.
She was
She
really
was drunk. I think she was literally
She was
drunk
biting on her lips. Like
or
it
on
was
benzos. Yeah.
She tractor beamed one too many podling souls.
Yeah, just chewing on her coke mouth.
Right. Just right behind her, there's a Jim Henson podling Muppet who just looks all dehydrated.
How much Adderall can I mix with vodka?
That diabetes boy looks nice and tasty.
He threatened. He promised to cure cancer.
Well, no, he said.
Yeah, I don't think much more needs to be said than that.
I mean, it's really, it was lie after lie. And then he promised to cure cancer. That's where I stand.
You can't say that's a lie. That's just a bold statement.
Hold on, Dave. One of your favorite
Very
things.
true.
He said the VA was going to be efficient and make payments.
And take care of that woman's husband and the families. The same way they did with the Vietnam veterans who across the country have died and left their families with absolutely nothing. I know exactly what that feels like. Yeah, he's going to be right on top of it, just like he has been since the war in Vietnam, since Desert Storm, since we've been in Afghanistan. How many countries did he flub tonight alone?
I think Iran was one of them. What was the Iran thing?
Well, one he made up.
He meant to say Ukrainians. He said Iranians.
I think he said Uranians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uraniums. What?
It was just statement after statement of just lies and nonsense, more division. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised he didn't stumble as much.
Really?
Yeah.
You expected more?
I thought more.
Wow.
So
they really gave him a good amount of B12.
Can I?
And real stuff, maybe the cure.
You're saying you don't think he'll cure cancer?
Oh, no, I obviously think he will.
Hey, can we take a poll? Can we put a poll up on Twitter? How many of you, considering how brave and powerful they're claiming the speech to be, how many of you out there believe that former Vice President Joe Biden will end cancer as we know it?
I don't want to have ass cancer.
By the way, you know what you do when you're confident on something? By the end of this
Claim
decade,
to end cancer?
Yeah, by the end of this decade, we will put a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. That's what you say. You don't say, we need to get rid of cancer and be tougher. We're going to do a better job. Like he didn't say, here's a deadline. Go do it.
Right.
He didn't marshal the resources of the United States and give us a goal and say, let's go achieve it.
Well, it's like a bad psychic, right? It's like a bad palm reading. If at any point in human history cancer is cured,
it was Joe
they'll be
Biden.
able to say it was former Vice President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
Like, oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
We knew it.
What? We had an oracle amongst us.
40 years ago, but we had no idea it was a long game.
We need to consult the Biden lineage. They just raise up like Dune.
I just like that he yelled at the end of the speech like Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, yeah, let's go.
Or attempted to, I should say.
Yeah, he sounded more like Bill Pullman and Casper.
Yeah, he sounded...
Ouch.
So, I'll tell you what. I appreciate that too because I was very clear. You always say, "Folks, listen.
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
Cancer cure's coming.
Yeah, cancer cure.
You can't cure
what?
COVID.
And the only tool you have against COVID is one that developed under Donald Trump, and you said you wouldn't take.
I killed more people with COVID than Donald Trump. I'm better.
Now I'm going to do it with cancer. Oh, please don't.
Go get him.
Woo! Go get him. Killer T cells.
Yeah. He's like the coach in
They
varsity
start giving
Blues.
you chemo in advance.
Yeah.
He's jogging out of the huddle, okay, or the locker room. Let's go, get him, and nobody's following him.
We call it our new advanced chemo plan. Everyone next speech comes in looking like Justice Breyer.
Yeah. No, it's great because when you get it, you won't lose as much hair.
Hold on.
I don't
Justice
have any
Breyer.
left.
Yeah, Justice Breyer. Oh my! What? I didn't even. It's like Chris Kattan in a gay sketch.
Yeah,
It's
my-
like, was that Mango? Was that Mango? Was that Justice Mango?
He was laying it on pretty thick.
Oh, yeah. He likes it laid on thick.
Yes. I mean, look, come on.
I couldn't help it.
Once you just
low-hanging
I do respect
fruit.
his commitment. Is he out of the closet?
Oh, I don't know.
Is Breyer openly gay?
He didn't have
Or is he still?
anything-
Is he like a
Listen,
stelter who's still claiming he's straight?
under that robe? Not a thing.
Not a thing. He just turned around
don't
and just
know.
mooned. He just mooned Pelosi. Boop. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Gosh,
They love me.
they really love.
He's talking about Pete Buttigieg. He really me. All right. I will
Jeffrey
say that.
Tambor in Transamerica.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever that transparent.
I will say this, and we're going to go take your chat here in Mug Club and hear what you guys think. And again, the promo code is Biden Fact Check. You get $20 off Mug Club, loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. You can go to loudwithcrowder.com/tour. It's about what I expected. I was shocked that he spent little to no time on the Supreme Court nominee.
he went right past
He spent very little time on the economy.
minute, right?
Yeah, if that.
If that.
And he also, it was very clear, especially when you compare it to the rhetoric that we have heard from Psaki and from former Vice President Joe Biden about Putin and Donald Trump emboldening Russia. Of course, if they meant it, they would say it right now when all eyes, and by all eyes, I mean however many Americans decided to accidentally stumble across this channel, or any channel right now, because they broadcast it on every single channel like the Indian Head in the 1950s. And that would have been more entertaining if Biden we just tuned in and Elizabeth Warren was going, boop. So I will say it was very interesting. You know, you've heard me say this. It's like you see this a lot where people make claims and then they're in a deposition or they're under oath, right? They're under the penalty of perjury and they don't make those same claims. Right now, when there were more severe consequences, Biden realized, I'm not going to be able to sell the American public on this idea that Donald Trump emboldened and created the problem with Putin. I'm not going to be able to sell the American people on the idea that Donald Trump weakened our position with China. So that's a very stark contrast. I also think the reason why is not only because it's a tough sell to the American people, but they know what they're what they're in for with midterms and the red wave.
Big time.
And so that's why he tried to play up the whole bipartisan. Look how many bipartisan bills I've passed.
Yeah.
He's trying to sort of ingratiate himself with Republicans because he knows that Democrats, they're in for a massacre, and he's hoping to at least lessen the portions of that massacre that are seen to be on his hands. So I did see a stark, to me it was surprising to see that stark of a contrast from everything he's been saying when he's dictating the questions, when he's out there and these are press conferences that nobody really watches, right? And then the media clips and gives highlights. But when he knows This is sort of like our show, right? We do this live. This is done without a net. They don't do that a whole lot on YouTube, especially now with the community guidelines and the advertiser-friendly guidelines. And sorry, the borderline content, what's known as the Crowder Rule. Apologize for that.
Your fault.
We do this live, and so what we say is of consequence, and we try to make sure that we say what we mean and that it's accurate. And that's why we make all references available at louderwithcrowder.com. By the way, best thing you can do if you're watching this is smash the like button if you're watching live. And if you're watching the archive, just leave a comment with your thoughts. And here's why it's important, too, for you to leave comments. And this is the biggest conservative channel that's ever existed on YouTube, okay? Bar none. And I'm incredibly grateful that you guys have come in. So this is the place. You will have more people right now. More of you will comment below this video, giving feedback with your actual thoughts on this address than on any other mainstream website comment section. It's something that we are able to generate that is undeniable, where people can read your organic. It's the same reason they got rid of the dislike button.
Yeah.
Right? Although we can see it behind the scenes with our tools, and by the way, still not going well for the White House. But I really would love to see what you guys thought about this. To me, it was shocking, just because I thought, I guess it's not that shocking. When someone is under the limelight, let's think about it at press conference. I don't know what the average ratings would be for a press conference when Psaki's there. You're talking maybe in the hundreds of thousands, right, if you're lucky. Maybe a couple million. I don't know how many millions of people are watching tonight, but he's going, okay, the stakes are high. I can't just use the same old tired, shitty arguments.
Well, the world was watching, hoping for a strong response to Putin.
Right.
They didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much on the table right now. I would assume there had to be a large viewership.
I would assume it has to be a Russian oligarch's table.
Yes.
Well, it's a large table to have. It's in Gulag.
You just go out, you see the table. It's like, this looks like the ghost of Christmas present.
Jeez. Wow.
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes.
All right.
I have grapes.
Let's go and take your chats here on Mug Club. And, of course, thank you if you're watching on Rumble. The more of you who can switch from YouTube to Rumble, the free show is always available on Rumble. We'll be back on Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Right now, we're going to go and take your chats, your feedback, and let Dave Landau say whatever it is that he wants to say.
Ooh.
Of course, on the Mug. What you say? Piss off, YouTube.